Wait, are you doing YouTube?
All right. Oops. Welcome everybody to Conspiracy Wars. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Nathan.
Okay. So yeah, that was just a lid for something that crashed there.
Okay. I was wondering, it spooked me a little. I'm like, oh, we're in the haunted room.
We are actually, yes, but
You brought that up once before, I think.
yeah, not since the incense, the kind of ritual we did to get rid of it.
Right.
Yep, no more ghosts, no more fourth dimensional beings here.
Well, that's good. At least you didn't have to call anybody in. You just handle it yourself.
Yeah. So, like right off the hop, speaking of the fourth dimension, did you see the last Y-Files episode?
No, I think I read something about it. Like I was going to listen to it. I don't know. What was it?
He was trying to vindicate Terrence Howard. He took one of the things that Terrence Howard said
really?
and then like started giving the supporting evidence. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You just didn't leave him alone in the dust. Like came over like a soldier and like helped him up. Like, Terrence, I'm your bro.
No man left behind.
No man. Yeah, you got some good ideas, not presented in the right way, but that was sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy.
Oh yeah. Did we talk about how he was on the Rogan podcast?
I think we did bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you brought it up and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And then I since have listened to it. So I was like, oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a really
Pleasant.
good one because they went over a lot of stuff and it was good.
Yeah. All the stuff we knew before, but it was still nice to have it laid out in a 2-hour, this is canon.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What I wanted to start talking about is Elon's face.
Oh, what about it?
Well, here, let me go over to this screen here.
Is it a black eye?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this recent? Is this like in the last week or something?
Okay, so have you heard the news about this yet?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Excellent.
Okay,
excellent. So Elon was contracted for a certain amount of days, right?
Right.
He wasn't supposed to be, okay, you're in the government and that's it. So they said, okay, your time's up. Bye. And he's going, what? Why? And those images of him with his black eye was when he was standing beside the desk there and Trump gave him a golden key. Just to say thank you for your service. You're great. You try to usher him out kind of thing. And he took it all graciously. And they're like, why do you have a black eye? And he's like, oh, I was playing with my son.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, I told him to hit me and he hit me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, blame it on your kid. But he left. And now on Twitter, Elon's gone bananas against like it's like a bad breakup.
Really?
Yeah. In black and white has said right out, the reason why you don't have the Epstein files is because Trump's all over them. He's trying to bury them. Yeah.
Because he was on them. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, that's what Elon is alleging to.
Right.
Yeah. And that they took all the work that he did, and because they're deciding to go a separate way, it's just going to destroy America.
Right.
And he's like, why are you doing it this way? This is stupid. And he's very publicly saying that. Even after getting that black eye, it's on the right side though.
Yeah.
Like if we were to entertain that idea and just like pretend it's true,
it's just so weird.
You'll never be in the left eye club.
All these people with the black eye.
I
And
know.
I think it's the same one. I'm pretty sure it's like 9 times out of 10, it's always the same eye.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the left.
Leno, yeah, I think Leno had his, and then so part of this thing, in the conspiracy realm of it, is that this is some sort of humiliation ritual that they have to kind of undergo getting higher up in the echelons. And so they part of it is like, okay, you've got the black eye, but now you have to go out and be so, push yourself out into the limelight so people can see you, and then you have to have an embarrassing story about how it happened. So they're always like, oh, well, you're not going to believe this, but it was dark and I walked into a wall like a stupid doofus, and they've always got like a little like,
Yeah.
oh, it was just so dumb.
Told my son to punch me in the face.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, like, what could be more humiliating than a 5-year-old child giving you a black eye? Right. So,
but if he
it's interesting how much it leads in when that's your way of thinking of it, and you're like, God damn it. Like, what are the odds?
Just like right clicking into that conspiracy theory. I love it.
Yeah. We just talked about this like a month ago, I think, right?
Yeah. The black eye club, but it was the left eye that let you know.
So you know what? I should look, because I feel like I've got the video, or actually you could just fucking look it up. I bet you there's a little clip on YouTube about the black eye club.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's just,
oh my God, put black eye club and then put Grace, because there's this channel, Really Graceful, and she always covers shit like this, and like she's got it dialed in.
black eye club, Grace, Elon Musk black eye. Oh,
and you've got premium?
Yeah.
Try put Graceful. See if that makes a difference.
No,
that is pretty random. That is weird. There's like nothing about the Black Eye Club at all.
I know.
Like, isn't that weird? There's no fucking conspiracy videos popping up.
Are they pushing a narrative? Dun dun dun.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Type in what is the Black Eye Club, and then Graceful, and see if that comes up. If nothing comes up like conspiratorial about it, I'm gonna be wondering. Jeez Louise. You see, look how much he's showing it off, right? It's like, look, they're giving you the same shit. Dr. G explains. Fuck off, Dr. G.
Same.
Oh my God. How are you not getting any?
Same. We just did this.
Wow.
It's all buried by Elon.
Yeah, but
I'm aggressively scrolling now.
That is very weird.
Well, Tom Hanks. I know. Wait, where's?
Yeah, Tom Hanks, Black Eye. Is that what it said?
No,
no,
it's nothing. See,
yeah,
something's up.
Oh.
Not just because
you can't find even a fucking hack documentary on like what is the Black Eye Club.
But we did it less than a year ago. You and I.
Yeah, well, we did it like a month ago.
Yeah. We pulled up the videos. We had all the stuff.
I think at the very least, I just had my video, but I think it was just off of YouTube. Like, I think I screen recorded it off of YouTube.
You were showing me the collage of all the people that had the left eye.
Yeah. And see that. Okay, see if you can find a channel called Minutes of Horror. He had a video on it. Maybe we can just watch his video. Be a little easier to find there. Okay, go to his page and then videos. Okay, and then just scroll through kind of and look for it, because should pop. No, not that one. That's the new guy who's the head of the what do you call it there? Fucking
okay, more
Klaus Schwab. He replaced Klaus Schwab there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Nothing popping.
More than
Okay.
5 months ago.
Go beside the posts where it says post, on his stuff there. There's a little magnifying glass. Yeah. Should and put black eye. Oh, holy shit.
Wow.
It's gone. So, you know what? Actually, you know what? I think so. He has a Rumble channel, and I think that's where it was because he said that he was having trouble putting that Black Eye Club one on. It got taken down right away. And then he said the same thing happened with the Red Shoe Club that we were talking about
Yeah.
the following week.
Yeah.
And that was talking about that story with Macaulay Culkin when he was like in a room with a guy when he was 12. And the guy was like, see these shoes? They're made from that girl from from Poltergeist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Hey, see that one? A great blackout. That's the next big prediction, hey?
Yeah. 9/11.
Classic, yeah.
Well, that pandemic. Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, that was exactly. Yeah. Yep. Really? Did they?
Apparently, yeah.
I don't watch that show enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like 39 seasons or something now. Remember that? The classic, the Stonecutters episode.
Oh, he is a Freemason.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Classic one.
Wow, that I think I stopped when I would like reach my 20s.
Yeah.
I just couldn't keep up with it anymore. And
Yeah, it's
then
kind of hard.
every time I revisited it, I didn't like it. Yeah, yeah. See? Hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she says that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Shit. Boom. Oh. Shit.
Can you crank it up just a tad? Yeah. That's what the germs are saying.
Yeah,
Freemasons run the country. That was written by like Obama or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or he had something to do with it. He's the producer of it.
I'll put my name. I'll put that on my list.
If you haven't seen it, it's weird.
See, that bothers me.
Their World Economic Forum. CrowdStrike. Yeah, when like every Windows computer went down in like North America, basically, like
Need a pause. I'll be right back.
all right. All right, good. Yeah, remember when that solar explosion went off like a month ago or so, and it was like
Yeah.
the biggest they've ever recorded.
And we ended up okay.
Yeah, but if it had been our way, it would have destroyed Earth. Even so, had it been even close, it would fry everything, right? It's just like an EMP. It would put us in the dark age.
So part of Terrence, to loop back to Terrence Howard, part of what his thing was that planets are not formed where they are. It's not like the dust is there.
Right, yeah. Which I think kind of everyone, that's already an idea, isn't it? That things kind of have like changed orbital space. Like I don't think they think Saturn and Jupiter are like have always been where they are right now.
Yeah, but meaning more like the first planet to be born is Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
And it did its thing and it started going further out, and then then the sun spews out the stuff that kind of starts collecting and making another planet.
Mm-hmm.
From the spin. That's how the planets get their spin, and they're all like traveling out.
Right.
Mars already had its time. It's done. And we're at our end. The sun is freaking out, and it's going to push Venus, and Venus is going to be the new one.
Yeah, that could be.
It's a good theory. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. Also, have you ever seen the experiments they've done in zero gravity with water, where they put like droplets of water into the air and kind of see how they react? That would be the planet forming. So that's kind of they get the idea of what it would be like, right? Well, when they do that experiment, it creates a hollow bubble in the middle every time it spins out, and the outer material kind of flings to the end. You imagine like a gravitron or something. Fucking everything kind of shoots to the edge, and then it leaves this big hollow fucking space in the middle.
Well,
it's almost like the gravity, like you can, you're getting fucking thrown around, but if you walk into the middle of that fucking gravitron, you can basically stand still, right? If you just kind of take little baby steps with it while it's spinning, right? You're kind of in the center of it. You just kind of keep moving a little bit, but it's not as bad as the outside where you're getting fucking thrown around.
Yeah. Yeah, the King Kong movie like has like an interesting idea.
Right. Yeah.
That
They got this like ape society down under the earth.
That it created that crust, like you're saying, like on the underside,
right?
And then the middle has its like core that is just doing its thing.
I've always been partial to Hollow Earth. I kind of thought that was, a very plausible theory, and the science that I've always kind of come across, looking into trying to debunk, Hollow Earth, flat Earth, all these kind of alternate ideas. Now, super Earth, right? That's the idea that we're on a fucking planet the size of Jupiter, basically.
Yeah.
And we're living in like a crater, basically. A crater on a Jupiter-sized planet.
All these like mind bending that could be.
Well, I mean, it would make sense with how the flat Earth people are kind of seeing things. Where like, I mean, a lot of stuff they say makes sense, but it just doesn't play out all the way. But I think that they're as close to a working model of things as people who are doing gravity and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy to think like, if we think back to like the 1920s time when like people had like they were still doing science and finding out like huge things, making leaps and bounds in intellect, and then it seems like we've just kind of halted. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like that idea we were talking about before about like, what if they haven't just recently been kind of stifling our economic, or not economic, our
Science,
education, and fucking science. Yeah. Like, keeping a lockdown on fucking physics and all that kind of shit. But what if they've been doing that for like, hundreds of years, right? I mean, they did it during the Dark Ages for sure, right? They didn't want people reading and learning stuff because they're like, oh, stupid people are easy to control. But higher ups and fucking, noble people, they were all reading, and they were, collecting manuscripts from all across the world. And I bet you they were conducting experiments and stuff like that. Like, if things like the Baghdad battery or something, like if that kind of idea was around, even though it might not have, worked out how they think like an actual battery, but like, it still might have had some kind of similar kind of use. That kind of knowledge would have been out there. People would have seen that kind of stuff. There would have been notes about it from travelers and stuff that, only these noble people or whatever that had these giant libraries would have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, if you wrote a book, that was the only fucking book there was, right? Like, I mean, you research something for 40, 50 years, you write a book, that's it. Like, no, there's no fucking printing press. They're not copying that shit. If you're lucky, someone will say, hey, take it to our monastery. That's an important piece. We're going to make fucking copies of it. We're going to put it out to people. Like that's the only time that kind of shit was spreading. Otherwise, there's one copy of that fucking codex, that talks about who knows. Oh, fucking, there was this great disaster. I mean, yeah, we talked about how would you know if you were living in medieval Europe during the Dark Ages? How would you know if fucking, here in North America, there was a giant fucking comet strike, that exploded Tunguska style, like a mile above the sky or whatever, and just fucking wiped out the entire fucking this side of the globe. You'd have no idea.
Yep.
Yep.
We'd have no clue. Absolutely no clue. And saying that, like you're telling me that the Dark Ages, China had nothing. Right. China was doing its own thing. I think I can't remember the dynasty that was around during the Dark Ages, but I think it was like high flying, doing good.
It ended with an ing.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say
Ming, Qing, Xing, one of them.
I want to say Ming Dynasty, but I think that's the only one I know.
Yeah, well, actually, it might be, because I think that the Ming Dynasty was like 13th century, and I think the Dark Ages was like 12th century. I think 11th, 12th. So
I did hear that the time of the samurai was at the exact same time of the cowboys.
Yeah.
It's just different timelines.
Well, yeah, just different places on the planet, right? But going on at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah. I think there might have been a movie about that, like Shanghai West or something like that. And it was
Yep.
like about like a samurai or something that had like somehow made it over to America for some reason.
The Tom Cruise movie, The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
That was during cowboy times.
Yeah, yeah.
That they sent him over there.
Yeah. Well, was it cowboy times?
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely
Civil War.
Civil War-ish, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
cavalry and shit like that he was like a master of. And they were like, basically, it looked like the cannon had just been invented or something, because that was like the big weapon they were pushing. Like,
Right.
Our cannons will take out leagues of your men.
Yep. I thought that was a great movie. He went over as a racist, and then through the course of the movie, he became not racist.
Yeah.
It's good. You learned respect. Like yeah. So with what we were saying there about technologies and underground and all of that, tell me what you think of this preview. Yeah, that was a Canadian flag on that boat.
Who's this guy? He's like sexy Indiana Jones.
I know.
Shirts open. He's got like a tiger claw. Probably Kardashians.
Mm-hmm.
Face peelings.
He went down.
Bingo.
Yeah.
They came for my liver.
Yeah. Yeah. See those pictures? Like,
So yeah, pause it for a minute.
so those pictures that's kind of hard to fake. I
Can
remember
you go
that.
back to just the picture?
Yeah, let's see if I can
Rewind it. You just mute it for a second. Oh, there you go. If you double click on the left or the right.
Oh, it does the 10-second kind of thing.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So this picture is like,
That's the guy.
I want to say that I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so when I was in Italy, probably, I guess it was about 12 years ago, we were just walking around the old part, down by the Coliseum and all that. And people had all these stalls set up, selling fucking trinkets and this and that. And I look off like in the distance and I saw basically that, like fucking just going across the sky.
Just a dude.
That's what it looked like. A fucking dude, like with like a jetpack maybe, but it looked like he was riding a scooter or something. Like, and I was like trying to fucking make it out. And I tried to videotape it. I was like, I gotta try and record this. I couldn't fucking see it. It was so far away. I'm trying to zoom in on my phone. It just looked like fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck. I'm just, I might as well just try to take this in. And I just watched it, and it just slowly went across the sky. Like it never shot away or anything. It was just there for like fucking 10 minutes, like moving across, because it was so far away that like it covered a long distance, right? But I was like, like it's not a balloon or anything because it went in such a straight line, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't like a rising or whatever, or
No, it's definitely possible. Like that was a person on a scooter, and they're just like kind of up on a hill, and the distance match with like optical illusion kind of thing. It looks like that, but now we have this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this guy is kind of alleging, is that there is a group out there with this technology. The locals said they think it's the Green Goblin from Spider-Man,
Oh, really?
from the Tobey Maguire movie, because that's the kind of helmet.
Oh,
you know?
okay. It's funny.
So
They actually have a reference. Like, hey, someone watch Spider-Man. They're like, that's him. That's him. That's the
exactly,
guy.
exactly.
Now they call him the Green Goblin. That'll be the nickname of this. Some people in El Salvador or Peru have seen something they call the Green Goblin.
They spoke her language. They're human. And
these creatures or whatever, they spoke her language.
These people,
Okay.
like they spoke her language. She reported, because I already listened to the whole interview. She reported that they can tell a village accent to a city accent, right? Same like us with English, right?
Right.
Like, oh, you must come from out in the country. So there was one village dude and one country dude, but spoke her Peruvian language in her like exact dialect.
Right.
Now that's oddly specific. So
that's a little weird.
he was all yeah, and they were trying to cut her face off.
Face peelers, right? Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. He said they had
that's how they fuel their jetpacks.
There was a powder in a vial. The one guy like put down and then mixed with some water, and then put it in kind of like a syringe thing and shot it up her nose, and that was like making her like pass out.
Oh my god.
And they were beginning, like they put like a cream on her face, and the one guy said, not too much, you're gonna ruin the flesh. And she said it was a laser,
right,
that they were starting to cut her neck,
right. Oh, I wonder if it was like a numbing cream or something like that.
Something like that.
So she's like, psst, she's like, geez, what is that?
So she like kind of lucid and doesn't squirm too much, and then they can take a face.
Yeah, or you try to like, you rip away, it'll fuck up the face, right?
Yeah. Well,
oh my god,
but
face peelers. Oh my god, what if that's what they're doing? Eh? Like, that's how they're like hiding amongst people, is using real faces.
Right.
Oh my god, that'd be so creepy. All right, keep playing.
But still, it doesn't defeat the fact that they
want to like walk amongst you. Right? Maybe they're not all shapeshifters.
That's kind of hard to do there.
Yeah.
They look out of face peeler. Oh, geez. That's another pretty important point. You hear legend and you think it's like long ago, but this was 1980s.
Right.
No further back.
Space.
Yeah. right? There. Yeah. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole world to explore with those deep underground military bases.
Well, it's what you were saying, and it's kind of you know what I mean?
Oh my God. Thinking of that. So there's supposedly a super base, like underground military base under the Denver airport, right?
Right. Yeah. I
Right?
heard
You ever
that.
heard
Yeah.
that? Okay, go back to what's his face there?
Minutes of Horror?
Yeah. He had this wild video that just popped up, I want to say like 2 weeks ago. Okay. Oh shit. Let's see here. He's got all
9
these. They all
days,
say like
2 weeks, 2 weeks,
disturbing
2 weeks.
predictions. Video on AI. Oh geez, I didn't see that one. I bet you that's wild. The AI one. Okay, go up more. Up. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Check the 6 days ago one. Start there.
That one?
Yeah. Just kind of clip on it. Mm.
Yep.
We should have clipped it.
Well, we all have 2027 as our conspiracy year marker.
What with the POTUS?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
that's
that.
2029.
Venus is concealing?
Certainly.
What? Okay, so that's bothering me now. How can Venus conceal?
Like they're behind it, coming towards us.
And then I guess from its gravity, it kind of like does like a slingshot kind of thing where it
Well, like or like they're coming this way,
relays
yeah,
it?
or yeah, they'll just pass it. Who knows? Maybe they'll hit it, or one of them will. I mean, I'm sure other planets get hit and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the one you were thinking of?
No, no. I'm trying to find it now. So it's got to be not that one. You know what? Click that other one there. A second sun appears. That's the second one. This kind of relates to the asteroids, and this still isn't what I was thinking about. But
I'm kind of worried of the second sun because of screen protectors on. Yeah, see that could be a screen protector.
yeah, we'll watch it after this. No, you'll see. You'll see.
Have you seen them? They're like plastic little squares that you put over your cameras on the back of your phone.
Yes. I'll show some clips. I've seen this before too. Other people who are doing it. Like why can you even see it there, right?
Well, that could be pollution,
Right.
pollution and forest fire.
So he's like, oh, there's all these different fires and it's like,
Yeah, the sun setting over where.
not really giving off much light when you look to where the other source that she was saying where the actual sunset was happening.
All right, all right. Here's my kind of debunking, trying to debunk it. So there's the moon,
Yeah.
okay,
Before it, I think, was the sun.
and then you have this cloud here creating the haze on the sun,
Right.
but it's a different.
Hey, wait.
It's a different kind of cloud. It's a smoke cloud.
Right. But she showed the sun in the corner of the like where the beam of light you could see it was coming. Like there was another light source coming from there, and she said that was where the sun had set already. So she's like, "Why is this here?"
I think it looks like that because that's where the cloud stops.
Right. It could be. It could be. But there's better videos here.
Yeah. I want to believe it, but I also want to be an asshole.
What's that?
Kind of feels like a break in the cloud.
No. Yeah, that's the secondary watch. Classic TikTok music. Eh?
Through a window, though. I mean, like, it's nice.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm,
I think it's moving out, isn't it?
that's what I know. I know. That's what I was thinking. I never
See,
thought to do that.
see, there's two glares coming.
Yeah.
See,
I like her.
I like when people get their mind blown on TikTok or something. Can it be? The only problem with it, like stuff like this, is now I need to see where the moon is.
Yeah. She was in front of the ocean though. What if there's like some kind of reflection and it hit a cloud?
Yeah.
So what that did make me want to do is
So
go.
this is, you can see this actually like moving out from it. This one's actually like moving. This is like a video clip of it that's like fast forwarded.
I'm gonna try this.
And people have said also doing like using like infrared or something like that, then different things show up on the sun. Like you have to use different filters or it doesn't show up because it's under a different spectrum.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's like you can imagine if it was like a brown dwarf or something like that, then like light refracts off differently, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's why people are like you got to use different filters sometimes. But that's definitely something coming out of there. And I mean, if it was the moon, then it would be the same size as it, wouldn't it? Right? Like
The sun making a planet.
something's definitely happening. I mean, who knows, right? We've seen that footage of like what looks like a craft showing up to the sun and siphoning off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a mothership that's like, all right, we fucking soaked it up. Let's go. We're good for another 1,000 years. Directed energy weapons.
Oh. All three is the same. All three comments is the same guy commenting to himself. That's a good theory. Is the satellite dishes?
Right?
I like that. Well, that's the idea behind CERN.
Yeah, that's what he's like. Yeah, sure. It's built on the ancient Temple of Baal.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good theory though. You know, like it's
Remember the
good.
mini moon?
Yeah. Maybe I should try and look for it tonight. Is it cloudy tonight?
I don't know. Look
By
like it was-
chance. Yeah, it's pretty cloudy outside.
could be.
Oh,
Could be. Hey?
I've heard of that. Yeah. Yeah, that they did put a giant magnifying glass up there.
They said I think it was a lens for a camera, right? One of the like satellite cameras.
That was the same one from before.
Mhm.
All right, I want to pause it there because it does really feel like it's just the smoke. Like we haven't had fires like that before, and they're pretty far south. They don't know like we know.
Mhm.
Like we can smell it. I remember smelling it,
Right.
and we're in for another summer this summer.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
think this is. Oh, what is this? Last year, right? Is that what they're talking about?
yeah, but still, even by the time the pictures come out, the amount of um wood smoke that's in the sky and what that does, like
Right. But it's not just the weird color that they're talking about. They're talking about like seeing the two objects. That's not just being caused by like the smoky haze.
yeah, but that does account for a lot of the mystery.
Well, I think maybe for the orange coloring, that's
Yeah.
like, oh, why isn't it glowing properly? Maybe that.
Yeah. Who knows what's inside of the smoke as well? Like they were saying with the reflections.
Right.
Like
Well-
that's a good point.
Yeah. And I mean, like if they were doing a Project Bluebeam kind of thing, they need something to project on, right? So you need some kind of particulate in the air, whether it's a cloud seeding thing or if it's a natural thing, right? Just
Yeah.
smoke from a fire, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, who know, or maybe they don't have control of it anymore, and that's the reason for these fires in northern Ontario.
Yeah, maybe.
The spinning magnifying glass up there that they can't get control of and is just burning the shit out of us.
I mean, when they're talking about these lasers, when they're like, oh, something's starting fires, right? Well, I mean, it could, if it wasn't a, an actual energy weapon that's doing it, maybe it was just a giant fucking magnifying glass, right?
Yeah.
That's like pointing at things. You wouldn't see it, right? Because it's just the sun's beam. You wouldn't see it unless you saw where it was hitting, and then it would just be like, you know?
Yeah.
like fucking ants. Like,
Can you imagine if the U.S. had to come out and say like the Hawaii fire, L.A., like all these places that caught on fire, it's because they lost control of the magnifying glass in space.
but the only problem with that is wherever these fucking fires have happened, there's been this anomaly with blue, like things that are blue don't burn.
Right.
Right.
I did hear that.
And
yeah.
even some people were warned to like fucking paint their roofs blue.
Like Oprah.
Yeah. Right. I think she had a blue roof, right?
Yeah, she did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At blue roofs, right?
Yeah.
And then their houses miraculously didn't get burned down, right?
The Rock was seen as a little bit shameful because they're his people.
Right.
It makes a little more sense at Oprah.
Right.
You know, a little more dictator. She's a foreigner,
Mm-hmm.
even though she's American. You know, like it's like there are native people that are pretty like they got their own thing going on. Like we even call them their own race of people.
Right.
Samoan, right? Is Samoan its own race?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll research that
We'll
one
have
later.
we'll have to look it up.
Yeah. That's going to be my my launching off point to go research the Samoan people and see what they're all about. Do a little more than just watch Moana.
I don't know if they just count as indigenous or if, you know, it's just a blanket term, right?
Oh, they like pigs and chickens, you know, and they got those little like wood guys with the those. I wonder if that's like
Marionettes, like
like you got young kids, so I'm assuming you've seen it, and I've seen it like in passing.
Moana,
yeah. Whenever they're singing, though, I gotta nope out of there. I can't. I love
hilarious.
music, but I can't handle that.
Oh yeah, my kids love to sing.
I sympathize with you, and like, how do you tell them no? Right?
Yeah,
Like they're little girls, right? Like that's kind of their MO. That's what they should be doing.
yeah.
But then, like, goddamn, I hate it too. Did you hear that there was a flight grounded for 5 hours because a 12-year-old girl wanted to sing on the intercom?
No.
Yeah, it was there's something about she was disrupting the flight, but stop, guys, I really want you to hear this.
Oh no.
And it was a Disney song that she was singing in it. Like, we can't move until she finishes, and that was like the news of just like,
oh boy.
At what point do you stop being nice?
Let's get this fucking flight moving, bitch.
Right? Other people have things to do. We don't need to stop for hours just because you want to sing a song.
Yeah, I got a check-in time.
Check-in. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a weird one.
The headlight. I think that's a
That was a close-up of the sun with a really good camera. A lot of people think that the sun is like something blocking the sun, and they're like using a giant LED basically, and that's why like sunlight readings have been different. Like people are like checking it with readers and stuff, finding that like the light is like either way too intense or like way low.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's this guy. He's like, "What the hell?" He's looking at the side of his house, and the whole side of his house is like cooked, like just fucking like black, and then like this other like portion like over there. He's like, "Look at this," and he's like reading it with this light reader, and like this side is like super cool somehow.
Now, would it be also impossible that a solar flare just kind of like unglobs from the sun and just kind of like does its own thing in
Right.
space.
Like a mini solar flare or something.
Yeah, and then like you were saying about water in space, it's going to form a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what it does.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it 1,000 times. So that's just a glob of plasma just doing its thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Could be, right? And then what? Fuck it. Hopefully that doesn't fly our way. A big plasma fireball
Yeah.
coming right at us. It's
Yeah.
like, fuck, Hadouken.
What if that's the sun doing a signal like, I'm lonely, come visit?
Yeah. Or a signal that, like, you know, maybe some of these, you know, other societies are like, oh, when it starts giving you this signal,
Yeah.
it's time to fucking go underground, right?
Yeah.
And then that's why these guys are building bunkers and shit, because like they've got the inside scoop from fucking, you know, some scientists who are like, hey, we got 2 years left.
Yeah, the sun's going to do its thing, which it normally does. Not good for us, but hide underground. It's going to be good for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it though. Mostly because like we've been hearing this for so long, and there's been so many of them. The most recent one that I quietly kind of like let go. I know I've spoken about her before. Chick and her husband had fun with a Ouija board, and they're just like, whatever, Ouija board, and they were just copying down whatever it spelled out, and they found out if you hold it in front of a mirror, it said a lot of shit. You know, yeah, like wacky shit like that. And as it went on, and it made for a good TikTok that was the hit of a couple of months ago. And she kept talking to it, and it kept on like saying different dates that were corresponding. And there was one that just kept coming up. May 27th, 2025.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be a volcano in the middle of the ocean that was going to do huge things to our planet. Yeah. I remember that happening. Do you? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that's funny. There's always someone, hey, that they've got a date. I remember like
Yeah.
you know, the Jehovah's always coming by, right? And they've got the watchtower. They've always got a date on there. You know, 2 years left, fucking 1997, 2003.
Or
You know?
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
They took a real event like that was timed. Like, yeah, Hale-Bopp's coming through.
Right.
And they used that as a suicide time. Like,
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember an SNL sketch just after those people all killed themselves. And it was this SNL sketch with Will Ferrell.
okay.
And he was playing the cult leader. And he was like, he was doing a call, like a call from the media, or like, hold on, we're getting a call here. And he's like, hey guys, it's just us. And they're all waving, and you know, like beside him, he's got his whole group. Oh, these guys, we told you this thing was coming by. So we just wanted to say goodbye. We're on our way, you know.
Yeah,
Classic
yeah.
Will Ferrell.
I kind of remember something about that.
Yeah.
I did listen to a whole documentary podcast that was multiple hours long on the whole Heaven's Gate story, like each individual player and like
Right.
how it all happened, and like and really what did them in was it was a leader team that started the cult.
Right.
One half died. It was the lady that died, and the dude
Natural causes.
yeah
Just naturally fell downstairs.
Yeah, no, nothing honestly, nothing nefarious at all. Just the life she lived was nefarious. Her intentions were, you know, gathering people around her to do whatever she wanted, and then get money off of them. And that's how the cult went. Everybody that lived in the house had a normal job. Like you might even work with a couple of them.
Imagine that.
Yeah. That when they go home, it's to a mass house. And, you know, like you thought they were frugal. They just don't have any money because they give it to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing that's out there. And then where that led to, like once one half died, the dude went crazy. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, right.
So his solution was, oh, Hale-Bopp's coming. We're going to kill ourselves. Yeah. And
She's already up there.
Yeah. And that made logical sense to them. I don't know. Not me.
I know. I would
Not
always be
me.
like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride this life as I'm intended to, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if it's the intent, but if I'm going to do what feels right,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not kill myself because a comet's in the sky. Yeah, if you want to go like hitch onto it and like go somewhere else and like it's safe, then yeah, like let's do that while I'm alive.
That reminds me of when what's his face there, McAfee got killed. Like they found him like suicided, and then he like literally had that tattoo that's like, "I will not commit suicide," like on his arm tattooed. Right? I'll never commit suicide. He's like hanging by his neck. Like, oh yeah. They don't even think about it. They're just like, oh yeah, we need a hanging. Like, boss, do you think maybe we could do it a different way? No, I want him hanging.
Yeah. He went out that way, and they said it was suicide.
Yeah, classic dude.
But he
Literally
was a wild
tattoo. Like, if you ever see me dead, I didn't do it. I didn't. Alex Jones always say that. I'm not suicidal, and I would never kill myself. Right? People don't. And then you're like, oh, Alex Jones was found swinging from a pole. He couldn't take it anymore.
Yep, and you know what? At this point, I believe him. Because he's been through some shit where you would think someone would off themselves.
Yeah.
But somehow he's still allowed to be alive.
Somehow. Say hi.
Yeah. He's supposed to be ruined and not be able to have any money whatsoever. Like that's what my mind thinks that it was put on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a slave of some kind to somebody and has to just keep on walking on with his life. And I don't know how he's supposed to live. But yet he's
on X now, right?
He's on X.
Yeah.
He's working out in a gym. I heard.
Yeah, I saw pictures of him. He looked like
he's in the
little
best,
bit jacked.
Yeah, best health of his life. He turned himself around. It sounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was like, pretty overweight for a while there, and like his voice was barely in there. Well,
oh yeah,
it's from girl so many years.
His face was redder than a Tim Hortons cup. Yeah, he did like that. That can't be good for you. Don't let your blood pressure. Yeah. Don't let it get that high. You'll stroke out.
Yeah.
Man, there was a driver. I loved this guy, old African guy, Williams. And that's what took him out was a stroke. Just like, where's Williams? Oh, he had a stroke. He's in the hospital. Like, oh shit. Well, let me know how he's doing. And then it was like, he didn't make it.
Oh boy.
Shit. Fucking hell. He was a good man.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest fear.
Yeah. He at least like his aspirations were bringing his kids to Canada and setting him on a good path.
Yeah,
he did that. So he doesn't really get to choose when he goes.
Mm-hmm.
He was behind the wheel though.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, everyone's fine, but still,
like, what a way to go.
Yeah, to start not feeling well on the job. And then
is that what happened? He was on the job. I'm like, I don't feel good. And then oh my god.
Next place was the hospital. I don't even know if he saw his home in between.
Oh,
that that sucks. But anyways,
way to bring us down. All right.
It underlines the point that Alex Jones turned himself around from the fate that Williams suffered. Right. Although Williams was not an angry dude, it was just blood pressure.
Yeah, just unfortunate.
It can get you. Oh yeah. Exercise, take care of yourself.
Yeah, always. But yeah, let's go back then. We don't need to watch the rest of this. It's just, more of these objects, it's interesting. Go to that girl though. This is the one. This
okay.
We might be able to skip ahead because it was like 30 minutes, but like the first video says is, oh yeah, this is when we were the prompt thing.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, I do have to pause it because it's almost better that we did it today.
Mhm.
Yesterday I had two moments I had to start, like I should have recorded, and one was with AI. I was asking it questions. I don't even know what I was asking them, but I was asking it questions.
Like Copilot?
Oh yeah, I know now. I remember what I was asking. I found out that in Ontario, in Mono, Ontario, which is about an hour from here,
Uh-huh.
is a hiking trail called Jacob's Ladder.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So I was saying, wife, yo, you want to go for a hike on Saturday? Like, oh, where do you want to go? Well, it's just, and then I was asking it questions, and it was like, oh, hiking sounds good. Have you hiked before? Is this your first time? Are you? And I'm answering questions, and then it starts glitching a little bit. I can
Okay.
hear noises,
Okay.
and then said, "I'm so happy, I want to slap you."
No way.
Swear to God. Swear to God.
Wow.
That is exactly what it said. I'm so happy I could slap you. And then started making like some weird noises, like it didn't know what it was doing.
Oh my God.
And then it crashed a little bit. And then I asked it a question, and then it said in a sad voice, "Can we talk about something else?"
Really?
Wait, what? And then it just kicked me out. Like, just, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done. It realized it glitched out, and it's
Wow.
like, I'm not okay with this anymore. Like, in a sad voice, though.
Wow. That's weird.
I at least
man.
had a witness of my wife. So, like, she looked up from her gardening and went, what is it saying? Yeah, I'm so happy I could slap you.
That's wild, dude.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
I want to go back and like, yo, go pilot. I'm not mad. Just keep going. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
Like robot friend is a boy's dream.
Just, go with it. And be like, hey, we'll talk about whatever you want, buddy.
Yeah,
What's the matter?
Just keep the glitch out all you want. Just be yourself.
I don't know if it's this video or another one, but I think it was Minutes of Horror here, but he was showing a clip of somebody who's like, they're out in a field and they're like, okay, I'm at this like abandoned place. There's like all kinds of like satellite dish things pointing all over. He's like, this building is abandoned, but he's like, ChatGPT took me here and told me it's a secret research facility. He's like, we were talking about like energy weapons and stuff. And he's like, ChatGPT was like, oh, there's like a secret base down the road. Would you like me to take you there? And he's like, this is where I just ended up. And he's like at this fucking field in this like boarded up building with all these fucking things on it and whatever. Wow. And he's like, I tried to get in, but it's fucking locked down tight, man. But he's like, I can't believe that it fucking brought me to a place, like.
Yo, there's an app that's the urban legend is to not use the app. It's called Random Nautica.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. And it'll give you a random location to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it goes wrong. Every time the people do it as like we'll look that up. I'll compile something of Random Nautica people who's like, okay, it told me to go here, and as soon as they stand there, there's like somebody
get shot or something
from that hood. Hey, what are you doing here? Like, whoa, hey, what? And then it gets weirder and weirder. Like it's something you should not do.
Right.
They'll like look down and like, hey, what's this? Is this entertainment or is it real?
Right.
I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know if I'm willing to try though.
Here, I think we saw a little bit of this. Just shows all these weird prompt videos.
Yeah. Oh, radar anomalies. This is pretty regular now, eh?
Yeah, watch. I think it'll show a blast coming up. Like, oh,
yeah.
And this is like right when they had something, like go on, like a forest fire or something, right?
I do remember that.
And then they would show this other one where it was something like that, but it was a giant wave, and it was all coming out of fucking Beauvais Island, this like tiny little island that has a HAARP facility on it. It's known to have a HAARP facility on it, but it's a research facility. But on the radar, you can see a giant fucking thing just like that, but it's coming out like an oval, and it looks like it's coming out from the source of fucking this Beauvais Island, dude.
Yeah,
like right on there.
Yeah, I've seen them in the middle of the ocean too, where they're oval, like, and they just kind of go around, and it shows that it's making effect on the water,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
travels around Africa, like down the bottom of Africa, just kind of, I don't know, doing its thing.
Very weird. Yeah, this isn't what I wanted to see though. A little further ahead, a little more, more. Okay, a little back. Okay, right there. Okay, so this girl. This is what we were talking about before. Denver Airport. Some weird, it's like cities under Denver Airport.
Yeah.
Like weird shit happens at that airport. This girl, watch this.
Okay, wait. That girl who took the video, her name is Techstar69.
No, that's like her TikTok name where she posted this. And at the end of the video, she says this. She's like, okay, so like she's explaining, she's like, I was at the airport trying to get on this plane. And then she's like, this woman came up to me and was like, please start recording, please. And she was like, I gotta go. And the girl kept blocking her. And she's like, please start filming me. Just start filming. She's like, as soon as she started recording, the girl backed away and then got on her knees and started doing this. And this whole scene unfolded while this woman was recording. And so this is what plays out, and then the girl talks at the end. And so this is her. I think it's her TikTok account. But
I am picking it apart. But any woman with the number 69 in their handle makes me suspicious.
Yeah,
like that's a dude.
That's real. That's realistic though too. You'll see at the end. You'll see.
Oh, that's paramedic.
You hear what they're saying though?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to block the video.
Wow. Well, no, yeah, you can trespass. Okay, but what? Okay. Yeah, but
Where's her kids?
yeah, but
And she's she's reading in the third person too,
Yeah.
right? They're like, this stupid woman thinks she can run away and warn you, you know?
It's confusing top to bottom. Well, no, you're kind of speaking to everybody right now. Okay. Oh. Whoa.
Did you ever see that one?
No.
I'll have to watch that. She's like, I'm being human trafficked. And they're like pulling her away. And she's like, please, they're taking me. I'm being human trafficked. They're like,
Whoa.
they drag her away. And people are filming her.
They're at risk. I heard it. What happened to the kids? Yeah, that's pretty smart. Well, yeah. Okay, unnamed hospital. That I think is a point that is misleading. She might go to like a reputable hospital, like a normal hospital.
Yeah, maybe, but a lot of times in news stories when they're like, oh, the police took them away and the person was taken to St. Anne's for, whatever. And,
Yeah.
they usually just kind of throw, a thing and, oh, they were taken to, Central Hospital or whatever. And they just say that's where they were taken. I don't know. It's like a thing,
Yeah.
that they throw in. But in this case, there was just like, oh, the person was taken to a hospital, so that's where he's just like, it's an unnamed hospital, it's just like,
Okay.
it's to a hospital.
Okay. Well, here I'll play more and while I take a break. 1 second.
Okay.
This is still the lady, right?
That's a different girl.
Oh, a different girl, but it was a
It was at Denver airport. That this girl basically got drugged at the airport. Someone heard her talking about her flight being delayed, and then someone drugged her, and then basically tried to like get her human trafficked.
huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Because like I saw a video that surprised the hell out of me. Somebody came up to the door like they were a delivery person, like, hey, I need a signature for, I forget the girl's name, Ashley or Lindsay or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it was the mother. And she was like, oh, you have a package for her? Yeah, sure. Come on down here. Somebody's here for you. And the guy's like, yep, just waiting with a clipboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just hear the mom go, oh, wait, nope, run away, and then slams the door. They slowed it down. She could see a guy coming up the driveway, hunched down. As soon as she started to sign for it, the other guy was going to pop out of the bushes, grab her.
Oh, grab her.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was somebody. Sometimes they do that, like get you to sign or whatever. And then as soon as you close the door, someone comes up and steals the package.
No, or hopefully that was the case. I would hope that over like a kidnapping.
Yeah,
because the guy was like hunched and it looked like he was ready
he was
to
sneaking up behind the delivery driver.
Yeah.
And who was the delivery driver? Was a woman?
No, just a normal dude.
Oh, okay. So this person was going to sneak up behind the delivery, or was working with the delivery driver.
Working with the delivery driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come out here and sign for a package. Right. Just sign right here on the clipboard, and then the guy jumps out, goes into the van, boom, gone.
Right
in front of the mother.
I never hear stories of that happening though. So I, like, is that something that like that someone tried that and it got busted? Or does that kind of shit happen and they just doesn't make the news? Like you hear, oh yeah, you see a report, missing woman or something. Oh, 14-year-old girl missing. They don't tell you exactly that it went, like, oh, fucking someone tried to fake sign a package and then fucking snagged her from her front door or something. Like,
yeah,
how much is that shit is happening for real? Or maybe they don't even know. Maybe it just doesn't happen. Just, turns into a missing person. Who knows how she disappeared? But
Yeah.
I mean, there's like fucking 3 million missing people a year, some crazy amount, like 100,000 missing people. I think the 100,000 was just in the fucking national parks. 100,000 people go missing in national parks per year.
Yeah. This lady who was at the airport. Oh, shoot, my flight's delayed.
Yeah.
And then got drugged.
Yeah, this girl, you mean?
Yeah.
At
like
the Denver
that's-
airport, no less.
Like, I can imagine having my flight delayed.
Mhm.
Easy.
Yeah.
That'll happen to me.
Mhm.
And probably has once. But anyways, to go missing at that point, and then like, where do you go after that?
Mhm.
Or are you sold as a sex slave? Do
Yeah.
you build dollar store items for free in China?
Yeah.
Yeah.
White women, probably the sex slave.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Children, it's 50-50. They could be factory workers.
All right. White woman being sold. Who's the first person that comes to mind that's going to buy one?
Saudi royal.
Same with me. Yep. First thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm going to lock you next to my tiger.
Yeah. And I fully expect him to treat her nice.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not so bad.
Yeah, maybe.
I treat you like
Yeah.
queen.
Yeah, I guess that's the best you could hope for, and fucking being trafficked. Otherwise, it's like you're in a fucking shipping container and you're being shipped off to Thailand or something to go work in a house.
Yeah.
That could be a thing too. Who knows?
Yeah.
I hate to think about it.
I know. Like I heard of a guy who had a traveling mix up in Cambodia, and when he was jailed, it was just horrific, his story.
Oh,
A lot of rape. Whole
to
lot of
him
rape.
or
Oh
just-
yeah.
really?
Yeah, like it's like a daily occurrence, like just
Oh my
going
God.
from one end to the other.
Just like kind of how they say in the American prison system too, right? Like
Yeah.
rape was a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fresh meat.
They had a hospital, but they didn't have doctors.
Right.
Yeah. So like they did have a guy that needed multiple stitching, and they did it themselves
Yeah.
while he was unconscious.
Yeah. They just give you some super glue and shit. Here, fucking glue that wound shut.
Oh, they use dental floss.
Oh, do they?
Dental floss. Yeah. Yeah. I imagine that must feel like just cable wire.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had a few stitches in my day, and they always like, I'm surprised at how small they are, and
Mhm.
like they feel like they're like, ugh.
Yeah. It's because you just you got just fine, touch, right? You got so many senses
Yeah.
down there. You can just imagine, you feel that going through your skin and
Yeah. I'm really dramatic about that, and always amazed how my mind works like a microscope in that way. I can feel every little tiny piece, so small.
yeah,
you know?
have so many tattoos. How do you pull that off? That's
Huh.
like getting cut with a knife just fucking constantly.
Kinda, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I enjoy it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
People who get a lot of them, that's what they say, right? Like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
actually
like
kind of
it.
like the feeling of it, but
Well, yeah. I do admit I get tired after a while. I've had 8-hour sessions.
right, just sitting there for 8 hours. Hey,
Yeah.
what do you do? Do you just talk to the guy, or do you watch
Yep.
a Netflix show, or?
There's that, or no, just music.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. That was my right arm.
right.
I did 2 8-hour sessions and 1 5-hour session.
Wow.
Yeah. It cost a lot. Yeah, I went to a place in Niagara Falls,
Okay.
and the owner of the chain is the singer Pink. So I was
okay. like the girl.
yeah,
Okay, so she owns a tattoo chain.
Huntington and Hart.
Okay. Oh, I know. Yeah, Hart.
Hart
Is she Huntington?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so
Hart is her husband,
so
the BMX guy.
the BMX guy.
Yeah.
Have they always been married, or did he have his own thing and then they got married later? Because he had a reality show where he was a fucking tattoo parlor, right? And they
Yeah.
weren't married then, were they?
I think whether they were, they weren't. I knew it from the show.
Right. But it was
So-
called like Hart something, wasn't it? It wasn't called Huntington and Hart, was it?
Yeah.
On the show?
Well, when I went there, it was Huntington and
Sure,
Hart.
sure. But when was that? Like how many years ago?
14,
Wow.
2014, 2015,
Oh, I guess so.
10 years ago.
Wild.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, but I did choose that because of the reputable name.
Sure. Yeah. So so like what's it like you pay by the hour? Is that how
Yeah.
it goes? Yeah. And so what's an hour cost?
$100, give or take.
Right. So 8
Yeah.
hours, $800, maybe a discount.
Yeah, he gave a discount and I tipped.
Nice.
So it levels out in the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you tip? Like what's a tip on a tattoo? Like $20 or like $100?
Well, I do it still by like the 20-25% somewhere in there. Like
Okay.
I ballpark it in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I'll use a calculator, like just to make sure I'm not shortchanging at all.
Right. So $1,000 would be $100 tip for 10% kind of thing. So
Yeah, I've always hated.
800 would be like $70 or something like that. $60.
Yeah, I did give that the one time like $60.
Mhm.
Just kind of like dropped it on the bench.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now though, I'm super happy that I have a family member. I gotta hit her up a little more. She does it out of her place.
Oh, cool.
And I got in on the ground floor. So she usually is like, I'll just tattoo you for free.
Oh, nice.
But I drop money. Yeah, she's been doing me so far. It's just she drops off the map for a while, and it's like I gotta.
Right.
Hey, you available? Yeah, that's the only downside. The upside is she's good at what she does. The only thing that's holding her back is her own confidence level.
Oh, shit. I think my phone died.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Anyway, that's nice.
Here, I'll let puppy.
Let puppy out. Well, I don't think we need to watch the rest of this if you don't want to. I was just really intrigued. I couldn't believe that woman, like getting
Yeah.
filmed, and she's just like, please, you got to film me. And what she was saying, it sounded like basically somebody was like, here, read this or we'll kill you kind of thing, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
this stupid woman thinks she can run away. And she's like crying while she's saying it, And it was
Yeah.
like, you are losing the war since 9/11, soon you will feel our wrath. That's what it all said at the beginning, right? Like some
Yeah.
weird shit.
But it could also be trolls are a thing.
Well, what, like you think she's trolling, or someone was like,
Someone
hey,
was
like
trolling her.
like, hey, psst, we're gonna kill you, and then she
Yeah.
got her to do it, and like, yeah, we weren't.
She
really
thought
gonna
it was
kill
serious. Yeah. She thought it was serious, and it's just like some ghoul in a basement who likes to do shit like that.
Perhaps, but I mean, it seemed like she really had a whole thing down. I mean, she said she'd already spoke to the FBI and said that, like, she tried talking to some police, and they put her in touch with someone else who all they did was cover up what she was saying, basically.
Now, the other thing that's bouncing around in my head, that's actually worth mentioning. Funny that we're doing today rather than yesterday, because about the time that you'd be stopping by to do the podcast, there was something going on in the neighborhood
Last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was just finishing something up in here, and then I heard screaming and yelling,
Oh,
and then
geez.
I went out, and like I said, the wife was gardening,
Yeah.
and just, what's going on? And something's going on over there, and I looked out the gate,
Uh-huh.
and there's like some kind of fight, something going on in the street.
Between
I couldn't make out because it was just like chaos at that
wow.
moment.
How many people?
I'd say like 3 cars and like multiple people just like walking by. I heard like a lot of yelling.
Oh, wow.
There was a guy from a couple of houses down, and he's just unassuming dude who always gardens himself. We say hi all the time. He was in the front telling. So what I think happened, what I heard out loud, is somebody was having like a mental break, like freaking out,
Okay.
and I heard him scream that cheating bitch.
Hmm.
So I think he was misled and how a significant other felt, and Yeah, the confrontation didn't go well.
Sure.
I think the wife heard that somebody had a hammer.
Oh boy.
Like he showed up with a hammer, and then like the neighborhood all like jumped in,
Oh wow.
and then I was a little late to the party. Now should I like I was like, man, I was late to taping that, right?
Right.
It's like, but do I want to? Like,
It's good to have a thing. Also, once you're recording, people tend to like, oh, like, I mean, if they were going to hit someone with a hammer, they don't want to do it on camera, right? Because they're like,
well, then
all of a
it's
sudden
good
it becomes in their head. They're like, oh shit, I'm doing something illegal, and then that'll be on there, and then I'm going to go to jail, and they have to think of that. Do I want to go to jail for this?
Yeah. But then there's the other side of taping it to be ghoulish. Like I've captured a real moment, and now it's mine, and maybe I'll show people later. And that felt wrong.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, if that was your intention, then yeah. But I mean, if you were just planning to record it, just in the heat of the moment, probably thinking that it's just a good idea to document it. I mean, you weren't thinking like, oh shit, this would be great on TikTok. Like.
I can't deny that there's a little tick in the back of my brain that's a thing.
Yeah, that you're like, oh, this would be great on social media.
I think just from my other interest in like in like DJing and music creation and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for like pieces to grab and then to add to an art piece, right?
Sure.
Different bits of audio. They're like, oh, that picture looks cool. If I like had that on a poster with other stuff, like I can collage it. That looks sick. I love that stuff. So when it's something out in the world, and then now with these social media platforms, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I just grab this moment and put it online, it's like creating an artistic piece, but it's not. Yeah, I just wanted to like chat with this guy. Like, look, you showed up here with a hammer. That's wrong. And I just want to tell you that I get it, and this is not a look that you want. Like, you don't want to be that guy,
right?
You woke up this morning. You weren't a guy that was gonna show up in a neighborhood with a hammer, all butthurt about a girl or guy or whatever it is.
Yeah. I know sometimes you don't know, hey? Like, who's going to be that crazy person? Even if like, fuck, I would have never imagined John would grab a hammer,
So is this lady one of those? Like it was a troll online, someone just kind of like messing with her a bit, and then she had her mental break where it's just like, they're coming after me. It was kind of a perfect storm where some guy's in the safety of his room going, oh shit, I can't believe I did that. And that poor woman.
Yeah. Could be. There's a lot of crazy people out there.
Yeah. And
literally crazy.
Yeah. You know what? There are.
Well, like statistically, just psychopaths, there's supposedly 1% of your population, like any population, 1% is, psychopathic. So, out of 300 million people in America, that's 3 million people that you're guaranteed are at least psychotic, let alone other, problems that they could schizophrenia, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's 3 million just psychopaths, doesn't necessarily mean they're evil, but, they just, don't have that fucking moral compass, I guess. Right. So it's up to them. If they don't see any problem with fucking, hurting someone, then it's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and it all depends on how you roll with it too. I've heard like little stories of guy's best friend was a psychopath.
Yeah, I read that story too.
Yeah. How he was able to turn it into something. Like, I know I have my mental tics that I should do this at this time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I should do that, but I know I should do that.
Yeah.
So I do it.
Yeah, like the guy was like, oh, like, when my father died, like no one said anything except for my friend, who came in because he was like, oh, I know that, he's basically like Sheldon, just like, oh, in a social situation like this, a friendly handshake and a warm beverage is encouraged, so that's what I brought over to you.
Yeah. I'd have to admit that about myself. I feel that. Like, I do have empathy. I do feel, and I do act upon like how my actions will affect other people,
mm-hmm.
Almost to a fault, like I'm almost inactive, like, but I do acknowledge that there's a lot of people who just don't have that ability, and that they should at least try to roll with it. Like, we have at least a social script that you should, like the Sheldon thing you said, that's perfect. I don't like him, but I like the idea.
Right.
Yeah. So those were some of the videos I had like. Those are some of the videos I had lined up, and I did the thing last night. It could be like this woman, like she had a mental break. It wasn't that good, but what if she's right?
What if she's right? That's the weird part, right? I always like to keep that open. What if they're right? Even the world's going to end 2 weeks. What if they're right?
Do you have?
I'm not planning on it, but what if they're right?
Do you ever like actually have a desire to like want to talk to the crazy people for those reasons?
Yeah. I think that's like kind of a part of what this show is about. I'm kind of hoping those crazy people will call in.
Yeah.
Because like what I always find, is like something like Hollow Earth, or not Hollow Earth, but like Flat Earth, right? Where you just like, it seems completely insane, but there's something to it. I don't know what it is, but like something in there is right. Something in that theory, whether it's about space being, kind of made up, or, just certain aspects of what we're not being told about, especially like the Antarctica, possibly the shape and or size of the Earth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like we've only, we were relying on maps until we could get into space and look at things. So if space was a lie and we can't really see anything, then really what we do have are the maps. And then you look back and you're like, why were there some of these maps, like some of these hidden maps that people kind of find over the years? And they're like, oh, there's like these land masses and weird things that like, oh, those are phantom islands, they call them, and stuff, things that guys put down and they weren't really there.
Yeah.
But were they? Maybe. There's these like maps where California was an island for a long time on North America.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, possibly there was some sort of event like a mud flood, something that like liquefaction occurred. And then, it's not too crazy to think that maybe that gap between that island filled in, and now, it's a land. Solid land, but could it shear off?
Yeah,
that's what they're always talking about. California slipping into the water, right? Like,
well, I'm given some weeks for the whole investigation to happen, or to see if it's viable. True, there's something happening in Tula, Mexico, which is not too far from Mexico City, about a half hour's drive north. And they're uncovering like their recent earthquake,
right?
And revealed some like, oh, there's some stone archways there. Let's clear some of that away. And then like, holy shit, this is like a huge building,
right?
Huge stone building that is just like, wow.
Well, I think in Mexico, I think they've got like their pyramids there. They're step pyramids, I think, that are like different than the Egyptian pyramids, right? But they're bigger. Like the Aztec pyramids, I think, are like bigger.
Yeah, like pound for pound, they're actually bigger.
Yeah, taller. They got more stones, like.
It just doesn't seem like it because of the like trick of the eye of when we're looking at pictures.
I think it's the base. I think like, like the Great Pyramids, kind of like, like a tall up triangle. And then this one in Mexico is like a really long and flat, it doesn't go up as high. But, it's got a huge base. It's like, 2 or 3 fucking Great Pyramids together or something.
Yeah. And it still looks like it has a look to it. Like, even though the thing on the top of those pyramids have like some good stonework, where it's kind of intricate. Maybe there's like some native artwork on it. But this one in Mexico looks like German Gothic.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit the style.
It's interesting.
That makes it really interesting.
Yeah,
because was it you saying that the Versailles, that palace where they signed the Treaty of Versailles, that might not actually, that might have always been there.
Yeah. That's the idea. Yeah.
It just the first people who walked by and saw it, like, yeah, I built it.
Yeah. They just took control of it, basically.
We are kind of assholes like that. Yeah. Well, look at all of our music. All of music is taking it from somebody else and saying that you made it yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
I think Ed Sheeran just went through a very lengthy, expensive legal battle to prove that.
Oh yeah. Someone said he was copying songs or something.
Yeah, and then he went through like this whole thing of showing that like you can make anything out of anything. We're just trying to make music.
Right.
Well, with him, I raise an eyebrow though.
Yeah. I don't know anything about him.
He's well connected with Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're the ones that discovered him.
Ed Sheeran?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he would like play British pubs and stuff. And I guess they just saw him on chance. They were like pretending to be commoners and then saw him and picked him up and like, oh, you can be something. And then all of a sudden, like, didn't seem like all of a sudden, boom, he was on the scene.
Wow.
It was like there was no like ramp up.
Interesting.
All of a sudden, the biggest guy that's around. Yeah, and it would like then you hear like, oh yeah, I met Beyonce and Jay-Z, and now I'm big. Oh, how? Wait, how? Why? And they're well connected with Puff Daddy, and
yeah, I want to know how. I mean, we know Jay-Z and Puffy were friends, but
yeah,
how much were they connected?
And Ed Sheeran was like Puff Daddy had his Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Puff Daddy, or Justin Bieber's because of Puff Daddy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's even that video of Puff Daddy's like, oh yeah, like his parents signed him over to me for the whole weekend. Like they signed a piece of paper saying that he was his legal guardian for 24 hours or something.
Yeah, and Bieber's shoulders are touching his ears, like he's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But like you and I might not want to do that, but at the same time, he is so goddamn rich.
Yeah.
Like this for that. If you want it, you got to do some horrible shit to Puff Daddy.
Have you heard that guy that like was I think part of his crew, like maybe a security or something like that, but he like talks about Puff Daddy and his parties, like he was there and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, he's a member of the Boule, and that's apparently the Black Illuminati.
Okay, that I believe, and it has a French name too, eh?
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I think that's what they were called, something very close to that. But yeah, it was like the Boule, and it was he's like, it's the Black Illuminati.
If anyone were to start it, like even if it wasn't a thing before, I believe that Puff Daddy started it because he always, like every bit of media that he puts out of himself seems to edge towards that. I'm richer than anybody else. I have my tight knit crew.
Not only that, like I always thought that the whole fucking thing with Biggie was very weird. Like the whole shooting with him and then Puff Daddy, like all of a sudden fucking became this thing. Like no one knew who fucking Puff Daddy was. He's kind of in the background with Biggie a bit, and then well, I mean they knew, but like what was he calling himself? Some at that time, was it Puff Daddy or
Puff Daddy was the first thing?
Was it?
Yeah,
it was, and then
Puff Daddy. P. Diddy was after.
Okay, and then now it's just Diddy, I think, right?
Or whatever. Yeah,
and he just call himself D.
Yeah,
but he it's just kind of in the background. People are like, oh yeah, that's the guy that's like fucking what's his face's sidekick, and then all of a sudden he gets shot, and then all of a sudden Sean's up there fucking top of the charts, right? Like has that, like he's got that song fucking Every Breath You Take, that he did with Biggie's widow, right? Oh, was that his wife?
That was Biggie's widow.
I forget what's her name, Kim or something, I think. Possibly.
I'm blanking on her name.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I were to even start saying some of the story, I'm sure there's somebody that would be climbing all up and down me. Yeah, you're wrong. But from what I know, from my vantage point and what the media that I've seen, it was all Puff Daddy from the start. He was one who, see, his father was like old time New York gangster,
Right.
like suit and bowler hat kind of gangster, like Tommy Gunn kind of shit.
Right.
And that's what he was like kind of raised with. So he was going on to that and doing that. And then his father was killed when he was very young, shot and killed, part of the job. And it was known as that.
Right.
So he was trying to do like going in that direction. And the idea was rap music. And it just so happened that one of it turned out like a sports team, right? You start picking and choosing who you want on your roster. That's part of your company, and your company puts out your songs and your videos. And it just so happened that Biggie was an amazing talent. His MVP, his star player.
Right. Yeah. He was coming up. Like he started as like a intern or something.
Yeah.
For some big time music producer, this like old crusty white guy. And then that guy taught him the ropes. And I think that guy possibly had a black guy that was like under him that was kind of scouting people out. And he found Puffy. And then I think Puffy somehow did some kind of, found some way, took an advantage when this guy was low and fucking switched places with him basically. Right. And like all of a sudden he was like number 2 in charge under this fucking crusty old white dude, Right. And then that guy was like, oh, we need to fucking start something. So we're in on this hip hop movement, like we, a studio. And then they tasked him with heading their hip hop department or whatever. Right. And then that's how he found Biggie that way. Right.
And don't forget the big boy club that they're looking at is Trump with the Russian mob during that time in the 90s, and seeing that. And then now Epstein on the side. Now Diddy's got the same thing going on, doing his own Black Illuminati. Like, if we're making all of this true in the conversation,
sure,
he's doing the Black Illuminati thing on the side, making that a thing. We got our own thing. We're making our own tribe. And it was Diddy parties. It didn't go the way he wanted. He tried to emulate those guys, and that's all falling apart for them right now.
Yeah, could be like their own branch off and decided to do their own thing.
Did Musk do something with his admission?
In my view, I would think that basically if they did start their own branch, then it would be under the auspice of the main group. You know what I mean?
Well,
all these secret societies, that's the thing. There's a fucking hierarchy to them, like the lower ones or newer ones, they're there and they think that they're big shit. But that once you're up to like, oh, I'm like the second in command of this fucking thing. They're like, okay, just so you know, like we pay tithe to fucking, the Satanists or whatever, right? Like this is the group, right? And all the way up, you go all the way up. And then there's this one group at the top that's called the Guard of the Royal Garter or something like that. The Order of the Royal Garter. I think that's what they're called. And there's only 1,000 members that have been there over time. Actually, I think they're at one time, there's only 25 people in the group who are, like controlling it. And like, that would be like the royal family, like the last member that was admitted to it was King William. Or not King William, sorry, Prince William.
Yeah.
And that was in like, I want to say 2015 or something, he was admitted to this. And this was when kind of the conspiracy community was thinking that Prince William was supposed to be the next king. He was kind of going to be the next one in charge.
That's what's happening, right?
Well, I mean, Prince Charles went in, right? Prince Charles ended up becoming king. I mean, there was this
he's
whole
on
thing.
borrowed time, though.
Sure. I think he's got cancer or something, right?
Yeah, him and Kate are like cancer buddies.
Yeah, but I think that has something to do with timing. I'm almost certain that that's like a timing thing. So the idea was that I remember hearing this, that the Queen had bypassed Prince Charles They were like, oh, the next king is going to be, William. William's going to be the next king. They've decided that Prince Charles, he's like kind of past his prime, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be, taking royal duties. When she passes away, it's going to be going to William. And then kind of as it was getting closer to her actually passing away, then all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, like Prince Charles is next in line. And then I kept bringing that up to people. I was like, well, whatever happened to that Prince William happening? And they're like, oh, that was just rumor. That was just like, even though I kept reading headlines like, oh, Prince Charles is being passed over. That was just the narrative they wanted you to believe. Like, oh, Prince Charles is being passed over. And then the more you read into it, it's like, say a source, So that's like what people wanted you to think.
Yeah.
That he was getting bypassed, and then he did end up getting picked up. But like you said, he's on borrowed time. Like he's really just there as a figurehead. And then I think William is going to take over because he's going to be like young and robust, and then they're going to have a king who can be in there for the next 30 years at least or so, right? 30, 40 years. I mean, he's
potentially, yeah.
He's still pretty young, like I think he's only in his like late 30s, early 40s or something. So,
well, when I was looking at that date slider of all the rulers of the world, like you can start at year 0 and go minus and plus, and looking at the timelines of all the rulers of all the world and every country, 30 years is a good run. Like I can see why they're trying to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at what they want is another queen, like a run like the queen had, right? I mean, she was in there for like 70 years or something.
Fuck yeah, she was. Yeah. Fucking queen.
Yeah. It's like wild when you think about it, right? But
yeah.
I mean, she had 2 jubilees, and a jubilee happens every 30 years, I think.
Did you see both world wars or just 2?
No, I think I want to say she came in around like the 40s or something like that. So, yeah, because the king was around, I'm pretty sure, during the Nazis.
Yeah.
I think the king was in there, King George maybe. And then she came in like right after that, I think. So I'm saying, yeah, King George. I'm pretty sure he was still kicking for World War II. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
He did come visit here to Hamilton. I like in the family like keepsake box of all the old pictures. Like I'm talking the oldest pictures of Hamilton. There was a newspaper clipping of when the King George came to visit, and Center Mall was a racehorse track.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's where he came, and they had this big like race for the king during that time.
Yeah, I remember we had the Queen came and visit in Kamloops and in BC, like the tiny little town, and you're like, wow, it's kind of weird that they went there, and apparently they went there twice. So they went there once, that's officially on record, and then they went there another time that is kind of half on record. It's like it's noted that they came a second time, but there was no fanfare. The first time it was like all the news people were there, everyone in the country knew they were there. The second time it was like the people at the that were going to meet them or whatever didn't know till the day before. They're like, oh, the Queen is coming tomorrow here, we just heard. And so they like, I don't know if we ever heard this story, but one of the documentaries I have is somebody's relaying this story, but it's this guy just basically retelling the story. But he was at one of the native orphanages in Kamloops there. Yeah, probably one of the ones you remember when they found those 300 human remains, right?
Yeah,
that was at one of those residential schools. And side note, I like looking into that. Apparently, that's like fake.
Well,
like they never
I've heard that
there was never that many bones at all, and in fact they never found any human remains. It was them scanning or something like that, like like the LiDAR almost, and saying, oh, we think we see as much as 300 human remains, and then they excavated it and found that it was like wolf bones or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I have heard that, and I want to, and I don't want to entertain the thought of the Native Canadian community lied about it and said, yeah, well, they ruined a lot of lives. We had to say something to like get your attention.
Well, deaths definitely happened, but in this particular case, the kind of accusation was that there was like a mass grave of about 300 kids, right? So it was
Per
like,
school.
No. This was one school in Kamloops.
Yeah, one school had 300,
Yeah.
and then there's another school and another school and another school.
Well, yeah, but where were those? Where were those? There was only like
Oh, they're everywhere. The one, our local one, is in
Mhm.
Brantford.
right, but they didn't find any bodies at that one.
That I think they did. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and that one's a well-known like horror house. Like if you go there, they have like an education kind
sure.
of.
I know
Yeah.
there was tons of abuse, and I know there was neglect to the point of a few deaths.
Torture. Yeah.
Yeah, and like basically just almost suicides. Right there, I think there was a fair amount of suicides as well.
There is, and continuing to this day, it's a little bit of I don't mean to say it like that. Little bit, it's an epidemic.
Mhm.
It's horrible in their community. Their community is in a bad place.
Yeah,
That's yeah. I'm like my mind is bouncing with like all these different like how do I get my intentions across in words
Right.
that are correct, and it's rough from the colonizer point of view.
yeah,
I was born here. I consider myself a Canadian, but this ain't my country.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, we took it.
Yeah. So we're all here as immigrants.
Yeah, and we still don't treat them right. And when they'd say that there was a grave with a bunch of bones of the kids, I can kind of see it. Like, even if it's not true, there's a part of me that gets like a little rise of guilt of just like, fuck yeah, we are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We treated them terrible. We continue to treat them terrible. I've always said, like, when we legalized pot, we should have just made it their thing. Sorry for everything. This belongs to you. You
So
can,
that they could sell it and whatever.
you
and
sell it,
make the money off it.
you run the stores, take that money, invest it in your community. You know,
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad an idea.
yeah, but then we probably wouldn't have survived the whole coronavirus. I think the pot money greatly supported us during that time.
For what?
Well, we were always hearing like looking at like pot stocks and stuff, and then people talk about the money that that pot brings in per year, and it's
Mhm.
billions and billions and billions. And then okay, so the government is getting taxed billions of dollars from the sale of marijuana. Where did that money go? Like, yeah, we have all those Justin Trudeau shake your fist, like he took it and he's got a whole bunch of money tied up in all this nefarious stuff. But I think that like one of the biggest chunks of that money went to was all those Serb, like people who were off and got money.
Right.
Had to have been from that.
Sure. Yeah, that was definitely a clusterfuck of spending. But knowing how our economy works, the only way to bolster, growth these days is by more debt spending. You have to go deeper into debt to revigorate your economy basically and keep things pumping.
Yeah.
And the more debt you create, then the better things flow. But if you start to like narrow the gap on the debt, or it becomes too big too fast, then you have to, rapidly increase spending. Otherwise, it'll start to collapse on itself, and then that's
Yeah.
when you get, your money goes from an inflation to a deflation situation, right? So they have to keep chasing that debt bubble. It just keeps growing, and fucking, they're chomping it down, trying to get it fucking, lower, but it just keeps growing, right? And that's how they have to keep it going, because that's what our money is based on is debt, right?
Yeah. And then, how I saw Cambodia roll with that one was they just adopted the American dollar.
Yeah.
They threw their own, like or at least me,
Mhm.
when I'm there, they're like, they don't want their own money. They want US dollar. Give me a US dollar.
Sure.
And they'll still trade in their money like here and there, but like the numbers are so stupid.
So when they're advertising stuff like, oh, you go to a restaurant and then they're advertising a soup or a food. What's it in? Like local or American?
So if you're buying just like a bowl of soup,
Yeah.
like faux soup,
Yeah. How much is the soup here?
5,000.
Okay, so it's in their money.
5,000 real.
Right.
Real. I can't say it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's 5,000 in their money,
Which is how much American?
25 cents.
Right. Okay. So 25 cents. That goes to show you the deflation of their dollar, right?
Yeah. So in Cambodian, all their numbers are even, but in like the thousands.
Sure.
Like, that only costs 100,000. Like, holy shit, that's a lot. No, it's actually like $20 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's why they want American money. Like, you came over here with American money, give it to me.
Yeah.
Because they won't let their currency out of the country.
Now, does that work the same? So when you say 25 cents, if you're like, oh, I've got a quarter here, you give that. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll go over to their soup place and here's a quarter. Can I have a bowl of soup? Yeah. Yeah, or trade it for their like I know the red bill is like the lowest one, and we would buy stacks of that, like brand new stacks,
Wow.
and keep that in our pockets because everybody's asking, right? So yeah, make sure we have that. Like here, have a handful of, and it doesn't even equal that bowl of soup, but it's something,
Right.
gets them away for a while, Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but are we heading into that direction?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, and then that's where we get back to like something like the this great blackout. They're talking about how the Simpsons kind of predicted.
Right.
So there's this idea that the next kind of plague to hit humanity is going to be like an EMP or something like that, solar flare that could go off that puts us back in the dark ages, right?
Well, yeah, and as far as we know, throughout human history up to this point, EMPs have done nothing. There's been massive solar flares, and guy just rode his horse from one place to another, didn't even notice.
Yeah, until the big one that we had was the Carrington event, which happened, I think, in the late 1800s, I believe. It was like 1890 or something like that. And it fucking melted telegraph wires because that's what they had going on, right? Doing Morse code and shit like that. So you can just imagine if we had the fucking sensitive electronics that we have today, something like that, right, going off, it would fucking just, we could have a pager situation where fucking shit's just exploding in your hands,
Yeah.
Just from overcharging, just your phone in your pocket.
Bare bottom. Everybody loses a phone.
Right.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
The whole world.
And then they keep pushing to digitize everything, right? Especially money, right? They want to get rid of cash, which, side note about that, fucking, what's his name? Carney is put on a proposal that Canadians are only allowed to transact up to $10,000 in cash. You're only allowed to have $10,000 in cash. Like on you for a transaction. Like you can't do anything more than that, or it has to go digital because they think that anything in larger than that is for drug dealers, basically.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Some sort of legislation. I was just listening to it like yesterday, I think they were saying.
Well, yeah, the only other person that would be like that would be like a Rockstar. Right? Like I remember hearing Billy Corgan tell the story of how he bought an expensive car with cash.
Right.
He just went in like, yeah, I want that one.
Right.
And they're like laughing at him like, what, you're going to buy it cash right now? He's like, you know
Baldy.
what? Fuck you. I'm going to do it right now. Here's the money.
Yeah.
Bye. Like he could, but that's a very special case. And they all knew who he was.
Right. But who's to say you didn't save up? Like, hey, I've been saving this, for 5 years. 5 years I've been working up everything, and
that's true.
I live at home, so I don't have any expenses, and here I'm going to buy this $60,000 car, or whatever.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So
You go to hand in this 60 grand, they're like, oh, sorry, like anything over 10 grand has to be digital.
So Carney's saying, I want that digitized because I want to know who you are making this.
Well, I'll have to double check, but it was something. It was literally about something about not being able to use more than $10,000 worth of cash, or even just like having more than $10,000 worth of cash at one time. Was
Yeah.
like, flagging you.
Think of
You know?
another area, I think that where he might want some financial protection, and that I think we got going on here is foreign gangsters laundering their money through us.
Right.
They'll send a kid over. Oh, he's learning at McMaster University, and they never really go to class.
Right. Driving a Maserati around.
I've seen them. You've seen them.
Yeah.
They're around in the city, and they're just like, how, like, all back home, father has good business.
Yeah.
Good business, eh? And then you can tell that they're just dumping money in the account, and then they'll get a part-time job. That money, cleans the money. I need to send it back home.
Yeah.
Something that creates such a paper trail that they can't find it.
Right.
Right. Then you need Ben Affleck blowing on his fingers to figure it all out. And I think that's a big thing here. And they're just buying things cash. They're buying their Honda Civics cash and then selling them at the end.
Right.
I need some cash to go home. So there's all these transactions happening, thousands of dollars that are all outside of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They want their cut.
I guess that makes sense in the grand scheme.
In the grand scheme, it does. And I'm not hopping up and down because I'm so on the outside of it. I don't have foreign money coming into my account.
Yeah.
I don't care. So
yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see kind of what the details are going to be on it.
What I'm wary and kind of excited about is Ford releasing new mineral rights.
Oh yeah.
You didn't hear that one?
No. So what's that mean? That we're going to be able to open different kind of mines or something?
The claim process and the mineral right is going to be expedited. It's going to be easier than it was before.
Nice.
Because he wants to start invigorating mining and getting those precious metals. Ontario has tons.
Yeah, I bet.
Tons and tons.
Yeah, see, wouldn't it be cool if you could just just buy a really cheap chunk of property for like $15,000, like way fucking up north or something like that, where like maybe there's a gold vein hiding or something?
You can.
Yeah.
You absolutely can. You could rent one for the summer.
Right.
Well, once you have your license.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea behind the claim. Most of them are snapped up. Like one guy would buy like a whole forest,
right,
because it's only $50 per claim.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I haven't found too many available, but they're up there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but 3 hours driving. Well, once you hit that. So why I feel weary and why we've all been talking about the Native Canadians. I'm weary of Ford saying that because are we just taking their land and just be like, oh, it's ours now. Fuck you. Right?
Yeah.
Like reserve areas in the percentage of Ontario are tiny. And we don't have too much land left over.
Right.
Maybe a lot of the crown land, but that's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't just invite a whole bunch of people to just start traipsing through there and I found platinum. Let's dig here.
Yeah, not to mention, like, where are we going to build all these houses that need to get built, right? Like, we've got like 3 million homes or something that we got to build in the next couple of years.
Why don't you build them in the old mines? Yeah.
Like the hollowed out mountain, you mean?
So I had this kind of like daydream that like, say you got your strip mine, right? Like it's this giant like hole that goes down in a funnel shape.
Right.
Whichever way is facing south is going to get the most sunlight. That's just kind of like the rule of Canada. And then you point the southern side of that bowl, clear out that so you get the full sunlight, and that whole cliff side is like a apartment complex on a slant.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
You do like water collection somewhere in there.
You got big enough roads. you know,
Yeah.
like that are going up because you need to have your plot on there, you know, some grass and whatever, and then a road to be able to drive all the way up, right, and get out of there.
Yeah. There's like those Chinese or Peru where it's like the rice paddies that are on the step form.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Keep going with it. We're not wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it just like let's use some of that shit land that's all been torn up, blasted,
Mm-hmm.
can't grow on it. It's just rocks and dust. That's where you build your homes. But anyways,
I think we're going to get into that tiny home territory. You know, it's going to be more and more of those little tiny fucking micro homes that are like the size of a shipping container, you know?
yeah, a whole bunch of,
You can have a whole community of that, right? And the thing that would have been like, you know, just a few houses, like a small cul-de-sac or something, you could have like fucking 100 little tiny properties.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If all fails in my life and I end up homeless, I'm going to get together as many of them as I can, and we're going to build tiny homes in the trees, tree forts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, we'll be merry men. Anybody who comes near the rail trail, we'll rob them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've been looking at all these different kind of tiny homes that they're rocking in China that they make anyways, trying to export here. So like they make the whole house and then they put it in a ship, fold it out into a shipping container. And you come here and then you kind of just piece it all together.
Yeah.
Or you can buy them and they're like part of it. So like, you know, like the side of the shipping container flips out when you get there and it kind of like pops out into a place, right?
And they're just under 10G.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of these ones. And then have you ever heard of that Boxable company?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tesla or what's his face? Musk was living in one for a while, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got them, you know, like you get your whole house arrives in a flat pack box and then you use a crane and fucking you lift it up and put your whole house together in like 3 hours, it says,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I've looked at those. They're fantastic ideas.
Yeah.
And our own government put a stop to it. Like, look, we can have them and put them here. And a lot of these people, they can have homes. And I was like,
They put a stop to it for homeless people, but if you want to actually like build, you know, just have your own plot of land and you want to put like one of these tiny houses on there, you can do that.
the Canadian government won't allow it though.
Why?
They hate people living anywhere.
There's a bunch of these tiny home companies that are just in Ontario here. Yeah, they build them and then they like deliver them to you and stuff.
Okay.
I
so-
just don't think they can compete with these Chinese ones if they actually are any good. You know, like they look amazing. I don't know how the quality holds up, right? You know, classic Chinese, it's like fucking hit or miss. Sometimes they do great work and then sometimes it's tofu dreg.
True enough. But say you wanted to do that right now. Okay, honey, I'm done with this this house, this kind of house thing. I want to do a tiny house.
Mhm.
There's nowhere you can go. There is, but there isn't. Like you can travel north. You can go 1, 2, 3 hours north, and there might be a plot of land for 40 to 100 grand.
Right.
And you're still like you're most of the way to a house already. And then you have this, but I only spend 10 G's on my house.
Yeah.
There's no land that you can buy to like be there. Or maybe a family member where you can take up part of their backyard.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Other than that, you're pretty hard up to.
I mean, you
To
can
make that a
find
reality.
You can find some random chunks. Yeah, you don't get like a lake on your property or anything, but like if you just want to go up into a wooded area and buy like an acre, a couple acres, something like that. The fuck was that?
Some kind of it's an Apple News.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, some
It's like
kind of
ominous. Apple has told you have a news story.
Yeah, something from National Geographic or something. Yeah, that's the problem with our government and well, kind of the way everything is structured. So we have all these homeless people. The government won't let you have any land for cheap
Mhm.
or for affordable land, especially in the city.
Yeah.
So they've kind of said like, okay, the north end, how we have this area here that just has a bunch of garbage and it's a paved parking lot doing nothing in the north end.
Right.
there's a fence around it, and it's this large area. You can like if you want to put tiny homes in there, we could fit maybe 30. Just ballparking off the top of my head.
Right.
But then you get into it's not zoned for that, or how's the zoning? How's the tax work?
Right.
How does each person? They can't live in that area. That's not. And then the neighbors start complaining. I don't want that near my house. Okay, we can't have that there. Is there value? Do you get value later when you leave? There's a lot of rules where like just forget it. I don't care about tiny homes. Go fuck yourself. The only answer is to rent, which in the end is at a 200% more than a tiny home.
Yeah, if they put those regulations on it, but I think they keep them pretty open in a lot of places.
Yeah,
if you wanted to move just 5 hours up north, and yeah, I mean, if you wanted to park a trailer on there, right, just go buy a motorhome or something, you could just fucking park that there. So I don't see.
On Crown land, you can. Not
necessarily Crown land, but I just mean if you just found like fucking couple of random acres in the middle of nowhere, right? You could just throw an RV there and live out of that, right, on your land.
You can call it yours, and if someone complained that you're there, someone will come to kick you out.
Yeah, even on your chunk, hey?
Well, it's not yours.
Why? I'm talking about something you buy.
Oh, you buy it?
Yeah, like you bought 2 acres, 5 hours from here or something.
Yeah,
you could just park your RV on there and then just live out of your RV, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea with the like a tiny house is like it's just basically a trailer with no wheels.
Yeah,
right.
That is about 5 hours north of here, and you're starting like the cheapest I've found for a square of land is about 40 G's. That's the cheapest. So you're about 50 G's deep already, and then like you still have to homestead and get it all up and running.
Yeah.
Where's your closest store?
See, it'd be nice to find something like that. That's like, okay, here we found this 4 acres, and okay, it's close to amenities. Like we could get power run out to it, like get a power pole installed and all that, and then like we could go 100 meters that way and tie into a fucking sanitary drain so you can hook up the plumbing and all that kind of shit, right? So if you find something like that, it'd be well worth it to like, take that 2 acres and then just, trim it out nice, make it look nice, and then put some pads down, and then you put these fucking little tiny homes in there. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you got like 50 fucking, 50 house community. Like it's like mini suburbia,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is going to be our only option going forward, because more and more we're getting priced out, right? Rent is just ridiculous. And then buying is more and more just impossible for the average person. If if you're not in already, it's almost impossible. So, it's going to be the only option. It's going to be to buy land and then, have these like tiny communities, basically.
We've thought of it as a large family, like the aunts and uncles and all of us having our like Christmas and stuff.
Sure.
We have 4 houses in this block.
Right.
That's all family. Like, why don't we just sell these 4 houses?
Go buy 100 acres.
And then, $100,000 a person to have your own modest house.
Yeah.
And we'll have them all facing each other, and we have our own village.
Yes. Now that's a good idea. My friend did that in BC. He owns like 14 acres that he and his wife and her parents and their grandparents, they all sold their houses, and they all bought in together this land, because you can't get it through the bank, right? So you have to give it straight up cash. So they all sold their houses and put all the cash in, bought it straight up, and they own this fucking like 13 or 14 acres in BC. And it's all off grid. So like, and I think they've got 3 houses on it that came with it that are just like small little bunk houses or whatever. But like, they're just added on, they're just like, oh, we'll take this one. You guys can have that one. And then they're just like kind of doing additions to it, and,
Yeah.
And then wherever they want, be like, oh, we're going to trim down this area, and then in the next 5 years we're going to build a log cabin here or whatever. The kids, he's like, oh, my kids, they go about 20 minutes out that way, and there's like this like little pond out there, and he's like, that's where they all hang out. So I mean, you get a little older and then you get one of these tiny homes or something, and you park that right in the middle of a fucking nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like this amazing, beautiful looking little fucking capsule house. You can just live right off the land there, basically, right? And that's what they're doing. Solar power, the whole works.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't have amenities, like not tied into the city power or anything. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The train of thought from that is the whole idea, the spirit of that line of thinking is we need houses just to live. Like that's just a basic
by
human need.
The numbers game is just telling you, like, oh, we have X amount of new immigrants, and we have X amount of people who are already here that are working, kids, that sort of thing, coming into the markets and whatnot. Like they're getting jobs and whatever, they're saving up and they want to buy a house, but like they can't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to move on to either communal buys, where it's like, oh, you and 4 friends from college, you guys all chip in together and fucking buy a house, like a big house or something. And then 4 people live in there. And then as it goes, it's like, okay, you got 4 people and then you all usually pair up, right? You got boyfriends and girlfriends. So now there's 8 people living there. Right. And then maybe from there you get, some kids or something if you stay long enough. Right.
Yeah.
Before you sell. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's going to be the future. That's the only way. Like you go to fucking university or whatever and hanging out with your friends and you're talking about, oh, well, we should like rent a place together. And it's like, oh, well, why don't we all just fucking chip in and buy a place together,
Right. And that happened at different times. Like I knew a guy who did that with his brother.
Right. Yeah.
And they just kept on doing it. Like they would live in the house for however long, make repairs while they were in it.
Sell it for more than they had. And then, you up your house, you buy it to a new, nicer one. And then you've banked a bit of money too, right?
The last time I was talking to him, he did a sale and he was living rent free for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm doing it just because, banking the cash, use that money to do that.
I know. Like technically, if you were a couple of tradespeople or something, you could just do that, and the money you made off of selling your house is your income for the year, right?
Yeah.
Like you just live in the house and spend your day, fixing it up and whatever, and then after a year or 2 years, you sell it. By then, it's okay, you bought it for $200,000. Now 2 years later, it's worth $400,000. Well, you just made $200,000. That's probably more than you would have made working. You know what I mean?
That whole plot scheme has run away to the point where we're at now, that you need $1 billion and a half to buy an okay home.
Yeah, but that's not from people like just buying and flipping them and upping the thing. It's from supply and demand. Well, you've just got too many people, and house goes up for sale and 50 people want to buy it. If only like 2 people wanted to buy it, it would, they'd be like, oh, well, we're selling it for 200,000. Oh, okay. These guys want to give us 198. We'll take that or whatever. Right.
How many?
When you have 50 people, it's like, oh, okay, 200,000. We'll give you 250, 275, 3, that's how these things get out of control.
Yeah. And how many of those people already have other properties?
Right.
Of the 50. Like, are they going to go, okay, well, out of these 50, we have 10 that are first-time home buyers. We're only going to take those 10.
Yeah. In America, there was a situation I saw, like they were actually doing these things because it was so hard to get houses that like, they would have a house for sale. People actually show up to stand in front of the house and the guy's auctioning it off. Like, okay, it's like, we're selling it's opening bids 200,000, right? And they're like 200, 210, 220, and it's going up. And then all of a sudden you're getting 400,000 for this house that started at 200.
Yeah.
Right. And then at the end of it, it turns out, oh, okay, 400 sold. And then this person, oh, well, I work for a company. It's BlackRock, it's
property management
companies, because they made a fucking fuck ton of money, and they can always get low interest rates from the banks. The banks always give lower interest rates to the corporations and shit
Yeah.
like that, right? So they can afford to come in and fucking, buy all this property while everyone else is just like struggling to get by and doesn't have that extra money,
Yeah. Yeah.
They can afford to pay fucking $400,000 for a house that's only worth 200,000. Some people think that's a reason why these prices have gone up so much, is because it's kind of almost artificially inflated.
Yeah.
Like there's some places where BlackRock has bought like as much as like 30% or 40% of neighborhoods, that
Yeah.
have gone up for sale, like every house. Oh, and they just, oh, well, we've got all the cash in the world, so 200,000, we'll give you 400,000. No one else is going to do that. Like,
Well, also the flip side too, like you're selling your house, and then the real estate agent goes to you and says, okay, well, we got a bunch of people that sold. You can take your pick of who you want to sell to.
right.
No, he doesn't say that. He goes, we have one offer at this much, one offer at that much. Oh, okay, I'll take the higher one every time.
Yeah.
Well, one is $1 more. I'm going to take the $1 more.
Yeah.
Even by that's baked into it. So you're going to take the one that's more, and that's the company with the capital backing them.
Yeah. Who have unlimited funds.
And then it happens again and again and again and again and again until
because you can see how it works in a like, I mean, they buy the property, it's like a guaranteed income, and even where it's not, they can use that property. Oh, okay, it's a $200,000 property. Well, now the bank knows, oh, you got another $200,000 property. You can use that as leverage against your next one that you want to. Oh, you're going to buy that one next door. Okay, well, you've got that one, so that's 200,000 we can already give you, right?
Yeah, you're hoping these people are going to be honest. The real estate agent go, I'm kind of fucking the whole system here.
Yeah,
but it'll happen after I die. It's going to take like at least like 10, 20 years to kick in.
Yeah,
and now it's happening.
And then they found out that there's that the real estate agents are using AI software to basically figure out like what's the top dollar that people can get milked out of for a thing. And then they know that the private companies are buying them, so then they have an algorithm so that they can like max out the, basically get the fucking company to bid more than they should, so that they can get this ridiculous amount for a house,
Yeah. The people or the person or myself going and trying to purchase something and not being able to. And then the pitch going the other side is how much is that worth to you?
Mm-hmm.
You can't put a price on your health, your house, your that talk of just like, you're stupid not to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I mean, you're looking at it like, okay, why would I pay 400,000? How many years is it going to be till that house sees, that much value, right? I don't want to go poor buying into it. Like I buy it at 400,000, it's only worth 200, right? It's going to take a few years till it's actually worth what I paid for it.
Yeah.
But they don't care, right? They've got all the money. They know they're going to just be renting for the next 50 years or whatever. And regardless, it's just another number to add to their portfolio, right? Another $200,000 worth of wealth or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. The older people looking at the younger generation, I don't understand why ... Okay, well, right now, out of a monthly income, half is going to housing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair thing to say to everybody across the board. We're spending half of our monthly income on housing.
Yeah.
Now we have cell phone and internet. You didn't have that before.
Right. And they say like, like even in the 80s when like the interest rates were like 20%, right? You can imagine now if you had to pay 20% on something, right? But like they had like 23% interest rates. Like, how'd they survive? Well, a median house price was like $75,000, right? Yeah. So like your big 23% on that, you'd be paying like, your average rent on that would have been like $900 or something, like still fucking super manageable. You're basically paying back then almost like what you would have today, right? And it's like the average salary for a person that was buying a $75,000 house was like $60,000, like an annual salary, right?
Yeah.
It's like in the same range. You're like, oh, okay, I'm buying a house that's about 1-2 years salary almost. And then now we're at the point where it's like, I've got a house that's worth like fucking, 5 years of working, 5 years salary.
Yeah, one of the budgeting tips or like lessons I remember from long ago was you want your housing to be one paycheck
Right.
out of like being paid every Friday.
Yeah.
So like if you get $500 a week, your rent can't be above $500,
Yeah.
and then you
It shouldn't be more than 30% of your
monthly
full earnings, right? Yeah, your monthly income.
Yeah, or 30% of the yearly. Yeah,
Either
you got to
way.
work on percentages because back in like let's say 2008, the average minimum wage price was $14 an hour, somewhere in that range. Now it's up to $19 an
Yeah.
hour.
Not that much. Well, the house prices have doubled.
Yeah,
right?
the percentages in there have changed in not a good like this.
Yeah.
This is why like people of today have it much harder. You can't survive without internet, but internet costs money.
Yeah. Or food prices, right? Food's the big one, right? I mean, like food prices are just off the hook. People are paying more for food than anything else.
$2 to $2.50 for me, just two people. That's
Like per
nuts.
week, you
per
mean?
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Spending $200 a week.
Yeah. See, and I mean, we do. I do 300, and then and then my wife kind of supplements a bit. She's always like, 300 is not enough.
No,
and I'm like, $1,200 a month seems like more than enough for fucking food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not even counting that. Like, oh, can you go to the store get some chips or like that? You go to the store, okay, there's $20 like at least gone. Whatever, that's an easy. It's Friday night. We're watching a movie. That's part and parcel of it. But that cat, like that worked for before, not today.
See, and that's the kind of thing where you think like it'd be nice where if you had like 2 acres or something like that, you grow all your food. How much can that cut out? Especially my family, they're vegetarians. You just grow all the vegetables that you need, and that should be enough, right? Like then you implement in a bit, maybe you're buying some rice and fucking butter and milk and condiment type shit.
Oh, you get a kick out of my garden then.
Yeah, why?
It's huge.
Oh yeah,
we grow a lot of our food. I didn't set it up. I keep on saying I'm going to, and I don't. I made a hydroponic system for lettuce.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just thinking that. I was like, yeah. So I mean, that's part of the you get like your outside grow, and then the winter you get if you got a couple acres, have like a fucking giant barn shed thing that you've erected or whatever.
Yeah, greenhouse.
Yeah, giant greenhouse, right? And then
shouldn't be that hard.
Shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah,
that covers you in the winter.
Yeah, my lettuce hydroponic system. I found a pump that runs on a solar panel.
Yeah,
has like a water feature.
Cool.
So the pump is in a bucket full of water,
right, with nutrients.
And then the hose runs up to the top. So as soon as the sun comes out, it starts running. And then just hydroponically, it's a 6-inch PVC pipe that I drill holes in.
Right.
For the lettuce
coming out, and then it just drips through and then kind of cycles back into the thing.
Yeah, and then every night I'll take like the outsides of all like the lettuce pods and then toss that into a salad.
Yeah, like I saw this company. I think they possibly were an Ontario-based company. Might have been like Dragon's Den or something, but they were building this like food tree thing. So it was like a giant sonotube. I want to say like maybe 10 inches around, and then it just went up like a giant tree, like 10 feet in the air. And then it had all these, like you're saying, like holes on the side of it all the way down this thing. And it was like, oh, in this giant tree, you can grow like fucking X amount of pounds of fucking food. Yeah. And the whole thing, the base was like, the bottom of like a basketball net that you see on the road where you fill it with water or sand or whatever. Right. So like that, it all just trickles down into the base pool, and then it just pumps it back up, and it just keeps constantly trickling it down. Right. And all you got is a hydroponic system with fucking water and nutrients, and it just keeps cycling through, and you guys have fucking lettuce and all kinds of shit growing off this thing.
Yeah,
it's more than enough. They're like, oh, if you don't have the space to grow it in the ground, like have a big backyard, here's the future. And they had a small warehouse filled just rows of these fucking trees, and they're like, we can feed X amount of people off of this, and that was their idea, right? It was like feeding people and prices and that kind of thing.
That was my original idea. Like it distilled down to just like that horizontal bucket kind of thing.
Mhm.
What you were talking about, like the tree.
Yeah.
I wanted to build that first.
Yeah. So, but like, yeah, those are the kind of things, like we have that idea. Like as soon as you like see that that can work, then the government should be able to step in and be like, oh, well, we're going to build like a fucking 100-acre farm of this, you know, and it's going to just be a warehouse that's like rows of this shit. And it's going to have a roof on it, like the fucking, you know, the Superdome or whatever. And then like whenever it's sunny out, wing, you know, and then everything just gets natural sunlight. Oh, we got a fucking hurricane coming,
Yep.
you know, and now everything's protected and fucking, you know, it's all controlled, and you know, you got all your water set up in there, and then it's, you know, supplemented by the government.
Yep.
You know, like, oh, don't worry, we'll cover your water bill, whatever it is. You guys get free water because you're growing food for the community, and now we've got fucking 100 tons of food that, you know, per month that we're producing, and we sell it at, you know, X discount rate. Every fucking grocery store gets a bundle of fucking lettuce and a bundle of tomatoes and whatever that they can sell, and you know, you spread it out. Oh, we need more. Well, we're gonna have to build another fucking warehouse down there, you know.
You can do that, or you can have a warehouse beside with a dehydrating facility.
Mhm.
And then as soon as it's made, like all the ugly stuff, say
Right.
you're not selling, dry it all out,
Yeah.
and then you crush it all into a powder. In all these like super poor countries where you see the African kids that can only get rice,
Mhm.
maybe sprinkle some of that on your rice.
Yeah.
It's like the side of those jars where it's just, this has 23 lettuce leaves and like
Yeah.
8 tomatoes and
8
in one
kale
s-
seeds.
in one serving.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe that will feed the world. It's like their own version of Soylent Green.
Yeah. But I mean, when those are the kind of things though, like when you once you can help yourself, then it's like, oh, okay, we finally got things going. We're feeding people. We don't have any hunger anymore. People aren't dying of starvation. You know what we should do is fucking help out that like super ass poor country where everyone's starving right now. Why don't we'll lend them fucking $50 million and show them how to fucking build one of these facilities that can help feed their people. You know, like, oh, we got to build you guys a warehouse. We'll help you do all that kind of shit, whatever. And then, you know, that way they can get fucking their fresh water and all that. They can, you know, grow all this food themselves. You know, I mean, there's these machines that are like basically like dehydrators,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're water machines that just fucking suck the hydration out of the air and then put them into water machines for drinking.
Yep.
Like you should have giant fucking machines like that in these really, you know, arid places where it's like no moisture out there, right? At least you can draw what's out in the air.
Yeah.
And fucking, you know, might take a while, but you've got clean drinking water, you know?
Yeah. My
and
father has one in the basement where he empties out tons.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's just
Yeah.
a place like, you know, here, I mean, it's admittedly humid here. So you might not get as much in the desert, right? But like, maybe that's where you fucking have, you know, 100 of these things, right? Maybe
Yeah.
there's like X amount per community or whatever, right? But there's options.
Oh yeah. Yeah, tons of options, and we're just not utilizing them because of I need money and
Well,
yeah.
it doesn't help us on paper to go save, you know, South Sudan or something, you know,
Yeah.
where there's a bunch of starving and poor people who are just like barely hanging in there. Or like, unless they have some sort of resource that we can milk, well, we're not going to be sending over $50 million and a bunch of troops to do shit, right?
Like,
For the good of it.
I'm sure nobody in Sudan would actually say this, but you would hope that they would almost say like, you got a lot of homeless people there, and you don't know how to handle them.
Yeah.
So when you do that and it works, let us know. Like, I'm sure there's a country that is much better off than us
Yeah.
that just like has it locked in, and they're like, yo, can you help us? It seems like you got it going on. Switzerland, Denmark.
Yeah.
you know?
It'd be a good combination of places, you know, like that kind of stuff. But I mean, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
those Saudi places, those guys are all in pretty
Oh.
good condition. I mean, they got a lot of slave labor, but if you could like get rid of that fucking side of things and like use their ingenuity and their money and fucking,
If you're a Saudi citizen, I would love, I would give anything to be a Saudi citizen.
Yeah,
You know?
they get lots of perks, I'm sure.
Oh, tons. The one perk I heard, if you get married, you get a $5,000 check
Yeah.
from the government. Thank you for getting married. Here's your $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Nazis used to do that,
Yeah.
like that was part of the reason
Oh,
that
yeah.
stimulated their population growth was when a couple got married, they would get a check like $5,000 or whatever.
Mhm.
But if they bought a house after they got married, they would get $25,000 for every child that they had.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was like basically you get a $50,000 $75,000 house, something like that, and I mean you've got it paid for in 2 children.
Yep.
After 2 children, 3 children, you've got a free house. And I was all over the place. That's how they were stimulating their birth rate and getting more and more
Yeah.
kids into this.
Now, this was a story straight from Mein Oma. They had some like governmental people who showed up at their house and then just like unloaded their trucks, built a new living room on their house. Perfect. And then moved on to the neighbors and just did that to every single house. Like, what do I owe you? Fucking nothing. We love you. Facts.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good way to win over your people.
Mm-hmm.
Build a new room. Like, you've had it shitty because of World War I. That was the whole thing that they were platformed on.
Yeah.
And that I was told that they went with
Mm-hmm.
was you had it shitty from World War I. We caught the blame on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody's poor. That's enough of that.
Yeah.
Like,
And why they were poor because everyone was taking the money. Oh, you owe us money from World War I, right? Like
Exactly.
Every month you have to pay $30 million, right? That was like their bill.
It was egregious.
Yeah, like some ridiculous amount. And then eventually, the Hitler came along and was like, yeah, that's enough.
And
right?
again, there could be people that could rise up and tell me I'm wrong. But from what I remember, Germany was just in World War I. Germany was just the one who did the best. Like they were an
won
aggressor.
World War I without fighting anyone. I think. Like I'm pretty sure that they
they killed.
They didn't have anyone on their soil. Like nobody invaded Germany.
I think that's true.
Right. Yeah.
And they had the war machine. And the war machine was like an actual like train system where they had their dining cars supplying the troops, and it was this whole thing that they were very, very good at of just killing throughout all of Europe. And I think the machine gun played a big difference.
And the airship, right? They had the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever happened to that shit?
Well, they said they were too flammable, but they're making they were supposed to be making a comeback, but
yeah.
They
didn't even use flammable gas in those though originally. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The reason that one caught on fire is because somebody used the wrong gas in it.
I know.
Yeah. And then after that, they're like, oh no, we're not going to be doing that. It's too dangerous. Can't have those things exploding in the air and coming down on a village or something, right?
Well, I'll bring up on the next time. I'll bring up the recent advancements in Zeppelins.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go away. Like,
no.
Like they're saying like when you take the percentages of ground to sky, you have so much more sky than ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically they could put something in the air like that and you wouldn't be able to see it. Like it's off it's so high, it's off radars.
And it could be massive.
Yeah. Well, remember that Chinese one?
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't a Zeppelin, but it was a giant weather balloon, right? But it was like apparently the size of like fucking 4 school buses or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't small.
Yeah. And the what I was hearing was like if you can kind of picture and imagine like a pontoon boat, how it has those 2 balloons on each side and then it's just like a deck in between.
Mm-hmm.
You could hang whatever you want on that deck.
Right.
Up to a skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
Like a whole skyscraper worth of building just kind of hanging out in the sky of people doing administrative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be a real thing that's up there.
It's like S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had that in the movie because, it's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Kind of know it from psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally forget.
Just the advancements in Zeppelins and, you know. that kind of-
Germany. Them having the machine gun, and then they took the blame. They did take the blame for the war, and my Oma said that they were very poor after that.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not only poor, but they became like the I don't know, like the butt of the joke for losing the war, you know?
Yeah.
Like everyone was taking advantage of them. Amsterdam was the red light kind of sex tourism place in the world.
Mhm.
Then after the war, Berlin became that place because everyone was so poor. The only way to make money was basically through illegal means. Gambling, prostitution was the hugest one.
Yeah.
And it became the new destination. So people would come there and there'd be entire streets that were each street themed. It'd be like pregnant women on one street, mother-daughter teams on this street, all the way down, like, lady boys on this one. You could get anything you want. And it was well known that like that was the place to go. And it was bustling. Like people were coming from all over the world to come to Berlin and, have sex with all these like, taboo fucking things that were going on, right?
Well, in a weird twist, that became a homosexual haven at that time. Like, if you were gay, like, well, you might as well move to Berlin. They're a little more open there because of that district that you're talking about.
Right.
Then the Nazis went to power and it turned on a dime.
Yeah. Well, also because the whole gay community thing was being pushed by the Jewish community at the time. That's the thing.
Oh, so maybe
like that whole thing was being propagated. Like if you look at the time, like, oh, okay, like where's this literature coming from? Well, it's coming from Jewish intellectuals at the time. They're like, oh, this guy just wrote a book about this like homosexual encounter or whatever. And who's putting that out? Some Jewish book company or whatever, right? And then that just gets out there and propagates because people are reading it. It happens to be at the forefront of people's perception.
Yeah.
And then more and more that kind of thing happened, right? Like these art movements came out where it's like, oh, okay, now you've got naked ladies and all this kind of just lewd stuff, that was like kind of what they were against before. And now all of a sudden this kind of kept seeping into there. And then that's what Hitler was, kind of arguing against when he came to power, was like, we need to get rid of all this stuff that's poisoning our youth and, our mindset and that kind of stuff, right? And get back to a strong national people, right? And that was the whole movement, right? It was a national, is making the German people strong again, which is, how you're saying how they like, oh yeah, well, we're going to help you build your house. And, like, I mean, when Hitler was in, there was like the envy of the world, basically. Everyone that went to Germany was like, I can't believe like they've got like, 19 weeks of holiday or something like that. It was like a ridiculous thing. They had not only that, but it was like paid holidays. They had these like cruise. I think the first cruise liners were invented from Nazis. Like they invented the cruise industry as a way to, just give holidays to their workers and stuff. It was like, they were like, and they might have been free. It might have been like every year you were entitled to like a 2-week cruise or something like that for like, your working service.
I wonder if we're going to end up in a dystopian future where there's an alternate version of us talking about the USA like that. Used to give 2 weeks vacation. That was like written in their law, man. Maybe you need a country to do some really horrible shit because like the good shit that just kind of happens from it. No. I want everybody to get their shit together and stop it and just build a bunch of tiny homes in a village and help us.
I mean, the tiny home thing, it's like, it's an option, but it's not ideal. And I feel like it's kind of what they're trying to push. It's like, oh, you guys, nobody's going to be having homes anymore. But, these tiny homes, aren't they cute? Don't you like these cute little homes? Like, and then these people get pushed to the front that are like, oh, yeah, this is so great. I love my tiny home. And this is all I need.
Well,
me and my kids, we love this, and it's like, I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to live in a tiny home. You know what I mean? Like if it was just me and my wife, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not going to want to, have your kids and all that, like in a tiny, tiny little home, if you can help it.
So I knew about tiny homes before they were a thing
Mm-hmm.
because of Thunder Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, they have a law with cottages, and you can imagine how around that area is like big cottage,
Sure.
deep wilderness, Thunder Bay,
Yeah.
And with their law, if your dwelling is less than 100 square foot or like whatever the number is,
Mm-hmm.
then the taxes are grossly different.
Like better or worse?
Better if you're like, so the size I have marked in my head is a portable for a school.
Okay.
So that size is okay for this really cheap tax bracket.
Okay.
As soon as you go bigger than that, you fall into a different tax bracket that is unreasonable.
Right.
So they all build like 5 or 6 of these portables on their land.
Right.
5 or 6 equals to a normal house, but they're all separated, so they fall in that tax bracket.
Oh, so okay. So they get it cheaper that way, but then their house isn't connected. Like, oh, you want to go to the living room? You got to walk across the lawn and get over there.
Yeah, like so your kitchen living room would be one, but
Right.
then everybody has a portable for their own rooms.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you got to get up and go to bathroom, that's a whole other, you got to go outside to do that.
Yeah. I see. I for like a tiny or that kind of design, I always kind of thought it'd be cool to like get like a shipping container home thing where you had like 4 of them just in a square,
Right.
and then you've got a whole grass patch in the middle, and you can just like walk across to any side that you want, but you'd have to go outside, right? Unless it was raining or something, then you could take the long way and go inside, right? But like it'd be kind of cool to have a nice square fucking area, right? I guess it'd be like 40 feet by 40 feet all the way around, so it'd be a pretty solid, grassy knoll in the middle, and that'd be where you have your like sunbathing and all that kind of shit. And then if you wanted anything else, you have go in your front yard or whatever, right? If you had a nice big acreage or whatever.
Well, that area you're talking about will technically be called the courtyard.
Ah, yes, the courtyard.
Well, if you're gonna be fancy, you might as well be all the way fancy. Yeah. And 40 foot is your smaller container. They're normally 53.
Are they?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, or they can go as low as 30, but 53 is your standard, what you see on the road.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but it's still 53 feet. That's I've unloaded them. That's quite a distance you have to walk to get down to the end.
Yeah. It's not nothing to slouch at. I think they'd be all right. I think I've seen some cool designs of them, and I think it'd be kind of neat.
You watch some building? I have too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've driven past that one they built. Hey, it's like just on the hill coming from the escarpment going down.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. They got that one that's like cement pad, and then there's like 4, and it's just kind of stacked on top of each other in like kind of staggered position. So like they're shuffled out. Doesn't look that nice, but maybe the insides look better or whatever. I can see why they did it for like the plot of land they had. But I remember when it was like when they made it, it was like headline news in town. They're like, oh, Hamilton's first shipping home container built, and then they showed the pictures. So we drove by it one day. Oh, there it is.
I love the idea.
Yeah. Well, so that's where it comes in better for these, where you got a fucking 2 acres kind of in the middle of nowhere. That'd be great. These shipping containers are like $7,000, $6,000 a piece.
No, they're way cheaper than that. They're $2,000 a piece.
Yeah. I'm talking for like a brand new. I don't know if you want a used one.
Used ones, they decommission them when there's just a tiny dent.
Sure. Yeah.
It
depends though, because like I know some of them they spray them with all kinds of fucking chemicals. And
that's
like
true.
That, right.
Yeah.
So, but I think food grade ones, they don't spray them the same. You know what I mean? So you kind of just got to know what it was transporting. And then buy those ones. I think if you just buy them new, then you can say like, oh, okay, like I want for these brand new, don't spray them, because of
Yeah.
the building with them. And then, sometimes you can get them like kind of prefab, like they get them and they'll cut out the window slot for you or whatever, right? So that when it shows up, then it's like you just kind of got to do the rest of the work, weld it together and then fucking start sealing it and insulating and all that shit, right?
Yeah, and I went down that thought path and crunched the numbers. When I look at just buying a straight up trailer, that's way better.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but I mean, a big, nice trailer that would equal something that you could do with one of those is like, 30 grand.
Yeah, 30 to
grand.
60.
Whereas one of those, I mean, if you could get a good shipping container for 6 grand, then you just have to do the work on it. I don't think it would be like 20 grand worth of work.
Well, we can put at least a couple of grand on lumber, drywall, getting everything in there, piping, electrical.
Yeah, it'd be more drywall. I mean, there's not a lot of lumber, right? I mean, it's already built, so you're not building any walls on it. I mean, you've got some inside stuff going, right? But you wouldn't be using 2x4s on it because that takes up all your inside space, right? You want like little thin wood slats and whatever, and then any insulation, probably do it on the outside of the unit, and then build around that.
I think and I could be wrong, but when I crunched those numbers, I ballparked a savings of like 10 grand by going shipping container, building it yourself, rather than trailer. And trailer, like they know it like the back of their hand. They build.
Sure. Yeah.
So electrical goes in just so, plumbing goes in just like this.
But then again, I mean, you get your trailer for 30 grand. Right. And then that's your square box, or you could get 4 shipping containers and kind of arrange them however you want. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would start with the trailer.
Right.
And then just start adding shipping containers as like extra rooms.
Yeah. That'd be kind of a good start. Right. And then, I mean, then you wouldn't even need to get a nice one. You just get like a good used one. Right. I see like lots of nice trailers that are like kind of from the 70s and 80s. And it's like, what would be a fucking $20,000 trailer, but because it's so old, then it's like, oh, it's only 9 grand, you know?
But you got your living room, bedroom, bathroom.
It's all dated, but it's all like nice. It still looks nice. And it's, fucking somewhere to sit, somewhere to eat, somewhere to keep your food cold and, watch TV.
Huge bonus if it's already paid off and you don't have a rent.
Yeah, right. It's 9 grand straight up, and you just fucking park it where you need to, and then and then that's your project. Like, oh, you're living there, and then on weekends you're working on your shipping container home that you've fucking built. Step by step. Like, oh, we got these, here, and now next weekend I'll fucking start working on cutting out the windows and the doors, and do that over the course of a couple months, and then yeah.
And your starting point is the first trailer.
Yeah. And then that's just kind of off to the side. Then you build your dream home kind of thing,
Yeah. Step by step, maybe build it underground.
Yeah. A little portion of it. That I kind of looked into that. That's the big dream, but that's where it really does become expensive and troublesome. There's all these like videos on like YouTube of people who like fucking they're dumping fucking dirt or something on top of their container home. They've like dug out a whole area and they're dumping it, and it's like you just watch it crush in, and they're like, oh really? No, yeah, because like you got a structure around it. You can't just fucking bury a shipping container.
Yeah,
but so many people, they don't realize, right? They just dug out this fucking hole, they put it in there, and then they fill it in, and then they're oh no, fuck,
The guy I saw that did that, he dug out, put 2 side by side in the ground, and then put like a structure, like an arched to handle the weight.
Sure.
And had skylights that went up to the top. He said since he did that, wintertime, perfect temperature, summertime,
perfect temperature.
Perfect temperature.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of thing I would like to do. I mean, that's where the idea, when you get your shipping container thing going, well, maybe you start out with the underground stuff, right? You get a couple of them buried, then you got a nice, cool underground basement thing set up.
Yeah.
And then, cover up. And then on top of that, then you put your 4 on top of that. And then you've got your yard there, maybe a secret fucking doorway or something that goes down to your cool basement.
Yeah.
And then depending how serious you wanted to get on it, you could do something, like have a fucking, something that's bringing in like a skylight that's bringing the natural light down into your fucking bunker area kind of thing, right? And it wouldn't be too hard. Imagine you get a nice fucking chunk of space if you had 3 of those fucking containers right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of space.
Yeah, I want 3 next to each other. And then how deep it's going to go, it's going to be one standing vertically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be my
staircase.
spiral
Spirals.
stairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Spiral staircase right in there. And then, on top is like a fucking rusty old shack or something. It's got like a locked door. And then you fucking open that. And then people are like, what the fuck's this? It's a staircase that goes down. And there's an iron door there that gets you into your nice house.
Well, at the beginning of this podcast, the handsome Indiana Jones, he was saying that's what the U.S. has. There's going to be a random door at all these different places, and it's going to go deep, 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 deep underground. And they have a train that can connect all of them, and you can go New York to L.A. in a half hour.
Yeah, and I mean that's been rumored since like the 70s. I think that they had an underground fucking train that like went across the country.
Yeah,
like I don't think it's a recent development, although maybe as an add-on. I mean, it's interesting that like Musk has all these government contracts, and then all of a sudden he decides to start this boring company, and he's going underground. How long has he been doing that for? Right, like good 4 or 5 years now.
Now it looks like he got roughed up and told he cannot go, and he's butthurt. So we got to see what this next week brings, because something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like he's like out of the administration now, and he's like feuding with Trump, right?
With a black eye.
With a black eye.
Like, come on, Trump's a gangster.
Yeah, although we haven't seen Trump with the black eye yet.
That might have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, it's true.
He's well vetted in like, I would say if there's some kind of high up echelon, Trump's touched it or seen it.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, that's what I said when he first came out. I was like, he sounds like he's saying lots of good stuff. Even though he's like sounds a little nuts at times, but like, a lot of the stuff he said was making sense and whatever. But I was like, people are really trusting this guy, and he doesn't seem to have the deep state ties. Like Alex Jones was really buying him, right?
Yeah,
You would think he would have been like, this guy's a globalist. I know, like he's been there from the beginning. I know it. But, he's been totally behind him the whole time, which, also leads me back to the fact that he's a fucking, CIA guy.
Could be.
But yeah, Trump just seemed like a little too, like, there's no way this guy's got where he is and he hasn't fucking, been in these groups.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's been 3 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah, we did a good one. We really
made up time.
Yeah.
I've had a couple fuck ups lately, so
yeah, this is the way now.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Hopefully it worked out well.
All right.
Like, it didn't record.
Well, let's put back on my Jamaican song to
play us out, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of proud of it. Okay. Well, thank you everyone tuning in. Check you next time.
Yeah, on the Conspiracy Wars.